passion.
What a moment!
From all the biggest games.
This is Sports Sound.
Oh, it's a goal!
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Another goal!
Welcome back to Sports Sound with me, Kenny McIntyre. Stay tuned. It's a 5:15 start at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock against Rangers. We'll recap the team news. We'll hear from both managers. We kicked off today, the early kick-off. Celtic 4, Ross County 2. In the 3 o'clock starts in the top flight, Dundee 1, Motherwell 1. Theo Bair with a goal there on 45 minutes for Motherwell. The equaliser from Lyle Cameron on 68 minutes. A really poor game at Almond Vale finished. Livingston 0, Aberdeen 0. Over 4,000 Dons fans made the journey to that game. A late show from Hearts. They go away with the points from McDermott Park, beating St Johnstone by 2 goals to 0. Utari Oda on 75 minutes. Lawrence Shankland right at the death there on 96 minutes. Into the Championship. A great afternoon as ever in that division. It finished Dunfermline 2, Airdrie 1, Inverness Cally Thistle 1, Queen's Park 2, Morton 3, Ayr United 1, Partick Thistle 2, Wraith Rovers 2. Into League 1, Falkirk 3, Annan Athletic 0, Hamilton Accies 1, 10-man Cove Rangers 0, Montrose 0, Kelty Hearts 2, Queen of the South 3, Alloa Athletic 4, Stirling Albion 1, Edinburgh City 0. Into League 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 1, Dumbarton 1, East Fife 0, Peterhead 3, Elgin City 0, Stranraer 1, the Spartans 1, Clyde 1, and Stenhousemuir 0, Forfar 0. So let's just get a quick recap from the 3 games, the 3 o'clock starts in the top flight this afternoon. Let's kick off then. I'm sure he's not got much to say with Willie Miller. Almond Vale, Livingston against Aberdeen.
I'm under starters' orders to get back up the road after watching this game. It certainly wasn't for the purists. It was quite an ugly game of football. The ball was in the air. That both teams didn't play any football. There wasn't any room for football to be played. It was very physical, the game, indeed. There was 8 bookings in total. The game was strewn with untimely tackles and very little opportunities. Probably the home team had the better of the opportunities in the second half. Montano with a volley that was well saved. Oberlai with a header, should have done better. And then Michael Devlin with one just over the bar. As for Aberdeen, only a Duke left foot strike was their effort in the second half. Indeed, a poor game of football, and it finished goalless here at the Tony Macaronis Arena.
No wonder after the game you watched, Willie, you had my total sympathy there. So at 0-0 there, let's then get to McDermott Park. Alan Preston watching Johnson against Hearts.
Hearts won 2-0, Kenny, and it's a venue that's very difficult for Hearts over the last number of years, but I'd say for an hour it was quite an even match. St Johnstone were very much in it, but in 75 minutes a brilliant touch by Oda inside the box from his left foot to his right, and he drilled a right foot shot beyond the keeper. It was 2-0 in 96 minutes. Liam Boyce is back after a long time out. It's played through and he's got half an acre to pick his head up, and he finds Shankland, who taps it home for 2-0. St Johnstone played well for an hour, as I said, but they've got their keeper Mithoff to thank for keeping the scoreline down. Hearts are off and running. St Johnstone need to get going. St Johnstone 0, Hearts 2.
And the points were shared. Stephen Craigan at Dens Park.
Yeah, and I have to say, Kenny, really entertaining game here this afternoon. Plenty of effort, plenty of endeavour, and I've got to say lots of quality to go along with it. Theo Bair put Motherwell ahead right on half-time. Really smart finish with his right foot after Stephen O'Donnell crossed from the right-hand side. But Lyle Cameron deservedly grabbed an equaliser for Dundee deep into the second half. Header at the back post. Full-time Dundee 1, Motherwell 1.
Thank you to the guys out and about this afternoon. It's time now for our second commentary of the day. Kilmarnock up against Rangers. They kick off at 15:15. Our team is in place at Rugby Park. Lee McCulloch, Rory Loy, and our match commentator Al Lamman. We got the team news from Al earlier. The big news was no Todd Cantwell for Rangers. Let's then hear from both managers. We'll start with Derek McInnes, the Killie boss. He spoke with Al.
Derek, there's been a whole lot of chat about Rangers summer signings and so on, but I think 8 of your own summer signings in your starting 11. But from what I gather in terms of your League Cup campaign, you're quite pleased by the way they've been bedding in.
Yeah, I think it's obviously natural. You want to try and integrate these new signings as quickly as possible. We're getting some boys at different junctions, some different level of fitnesses, and we're trying to ideally they've got them in a lot sooner. But I think the fact we've played competitive games has maybe helped us. I'm getting to know more about my players, they're getting to know about what I'm looking for in that demand. And the demand changes for us as a team this season, so it is important that, well, we're not going to be perfect at this point in the season. I think it's impossible for any team to be. It's important that we try and demonstrate that there's an improvement in us. That's clearly what we're looking for, and none more so than today. It's a real test for us. Rangers have got huge advantages over the likes of ourselves, but our home form was really good last season. We beat every team in the Premier League last season except the Old Firm. We'd like that to change this season for obvious reasons, and today gives us a wee kind of opportunity really to do that.
And do you think the fact that Rangers haven't played competitively before today maybe aids you in that at all?
Possibly, you don't never know. I think I've watched their games, pre-season games, and they've not been against weak opposition, so. And I think Rangers, when the real ball starts, when the Premier League starts the campaign, it's ingrained in them really to be ready and be competitive. So I just think from my own point of view, I think it's important that we've had those games now. There's a lot of hullabaloo about the League Cup when it started. Nothing wrong with the format for me, it just started a week too early. But we're now grateful we've come through those games. Ideally, there's a few players like Mackenzie, Joe Wright, who's missing today, Kyle Vassell, Liam Donnelly, who we've just signed again. Ideally, these boys would have been up to speed a bit more, because these will be key players for me this season, particularly Vassell in the forward areas. And we're still keen to add to the squad. We're still looking to try and get another striker in, at least one in the forward areas between now and the window closing. But for now, the team picked is more than good enough to be competitive against Rangers, hopefully show that we're comfortable out of possession as we need to be, but also try and carry that threat at the right moments to go and try and get a positive result.
Derek McInnes here. Kick-off is fast approaching. Let's now hear from the Rangers manager, Michael Beale. He also spoke with Al.
Michael, let's talk about your team first of all. Your starting 11, I think by my reckoning, has 5 of your new signings in it. It's an exciting time for Rangers fans, but I can imagine it's a pretty exciting time for yourself as well.
Really exciting time. It was a long summer, so I'm delighted we're here to the first game of the season. We've got some new signings in. Danilo's a little bit behind in his fitness, but you'll definitely see him this afternoon. Same with Jose, has only just been in and around the squad for one day. It was a difficult team to pick. We got a strong bench. It's important we start well today.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've heard a number of managers say now there's almost no such thing as a strongest starting 11 or strongest first 11 as such, because it is such a squad game. I was curious though that Todd Cantwell, who was so good for you when he came in last season, doesn't get a starting place. Can you just give us a little bit of insight into your thinking?
I think the balance in the midfield today is really good. I think the game will open up as it goes on. There'll be more room for people like Todd and Danilo to come in the game. That's what I'm predicting. But we've also we've got a big schedule coming up. We've got 4 games in 12 days or whatever it is, and you'll see there'll be subtle changes to each one. We've got a lot of options this year in terms of how many people we play in the final third, if we play 2 strikers or 3, whether we play people wide or an extra number 10, and Todd's going to play a lot of football. He's a really important player for us, there's no doubt about that.
You'll be under no illusions as to the importance of getting off to a good start. There's just very little margin for error in this league, is there?
No, and our away form needs to be top, and it was very good last year. I think teams come and had a right go at us when we played away from home, and we was able to score goals because of the extra space that we don't really get often at Ibrox. So look, we have to be able to find a way to overcome every challenge that comes our way, and I know Derek, and he's a strong competitor. He's been a winner all of his career, so I know that Derek's going to have his team set up well today. I'm hoping for a little bit of rain in the air to make the pitch a little bit faster.
Michael Beale there. It's time now to sit back and enjoy the action. We've brought you a fair amount of drama this afternoon. Let's hope for more of the same. It's Kilmarnock against Rangers with Lee McCulloch, Rory Loy and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks again, Kenny. As always on opening day, the excitement is palpable. So much anticipation for what lies ahead. And the home fans have turned out in brilliant numbers for the visit of Michael Beale's Rangers, as Kilmarnock look to record a first win over today's opposition since February 2020. There's a good deal of positivity around Rugby Park, though that is also emanating from the away support, who we can barely see right now. The clouds of smoke from their smoke bombs that they've let off pre-match drifting across to us in the main stand. But the Rangers fans, like the Killie fans, who have seen their side in action, of course, in the League Cup, but the Rangers fans keen to see their side in competitive action for the first time this season. It's Kilmarnock in their home kits, blue and white stripes and blue shorts and socks, who will get us underway. They're going from right to left as we look at it from the back of the main stand. Rangers in one of their change strips of orange and blue striped top and navy shorts and socks. And Danny Armstrong, who really was Kilmarnock's talisman last season, they didn't lose a game in which he scored in the league 8 times. That happened. He'll be looking to get off the mark. He was sent off against Rangers here. In actual fact, that was probably the low point of his season. We're underway, and Conor Goldson knocks it down and immediately falls to Danny Armstrong with a shot from about 25 yards just wide of Jack Butland's goal. He just lets it go wide of his goal. Alongside me this afternoon, Lee McCulloch and Rory Loy. Lee, first of all, from yourself, you've maybe seen a bit of Kilmarnock already, but Rangers, in terms of this being their first competitive game, there's lots to look forward to from their point of view.
Yeah, thank you. I think there is. I think when you look at the forward 4 players, Dowell, Lammers, Dessers and Sima, all new, I think it'll be exciting to see how they cope with Scottish football and the hustle bustle. And you can see Kilmarnock's intent right at the start for the kick-off when they 5 players and on the diagonal territorially playing.
Yeah, trying to put the ball right on top of the Rangers defence and pick up second balls, and they're coming forward down the right hand side right now, and they've got themselves an early corner. Danny Armstrong looks in the mood already. Let me just run you quickly through the sides for anyone who hasn't seen them. It's Will Dennis in goal for Kelly, a back 4 of Mayo, Dees, Finlay and Daba, 5 in midfield, Lyons, Armstrong, Watson, McGuinness and Kennedy, with Watkins leading the line. Rangers are Butland in goal, Tavernier, Goldson, Suter and Barisic, Lundstrom, Dowell, Raskan, Lammers, Sima and Dessers. And Michael Beale promising Rangers fans a look at some of their other new signings over the course of the game, but it's ball swung into the Rangers penalty, they headed away. It'll be retrieved by Armstrong, who sends it back in, but that should be comfortable for Jack Butland, and a chance to hear the first thoughts of the game of Rory Loy.
Evening out. What I would say is, if any of these new signings of Rangers underestimated what they were walking into, and you just need to look at that away end, the level of expectation is there, it's massively there, but Derek McInnes has made a lot of his own signings. The one thing I do notice in the game is Danny Armstrong up against Borna Barisic. You know, that opportunity there which led to the corner. It's Borna Barisic who gets caught out of position again, and John Suter needs to help him out, so that'll be key today. Armstrong against Barisic for me.
It's given away in the midfield by young David Watson, who made such an impact coming into the Kilmarnock team. A real bright spot for them last season as well, and back in the starting lineup. But Kelly on the defensive right now as Lammers tries to help the ball on to Tavernier, but that comes to nothing. And Kilmarnock able to work their way down the left hand side, giving away again, though the pitch looks a little bit sticky and dry. We haven't had the rain down in Ayrshire this afternoon that we've seen in other parts of the country, as Conor Goldson, back from injuries, not played in pre-season for Rangers, but back to take his place alongside John Suter in the Rangers defence this afternoon. And he picks up midway inside his own half and plays it out to Tavernier on this near side, just inside his own half. That's given away a few slack passes early doors for Rangers, and just wonder, Lee, the fact that they haven't played competitively at all, does that help Derek McInnes' side?
Oh, definitely. I think even if you look over at Celtic Park, it wasn't fluent today. Nobody's expecting Rangers to hit the ground running today. I think today is just about them trying to get 3 points, get through it, and try to bed in the new signings. That's a lot of new signings to have on the pitch for the first game.
Here's an early chance though for Sima, over the top, ball breaks to him, and it's a comfortable take in the end, but there's an offside flag up in any event. Might have gone up earlier, but Will Dennis able to catch that one. Sima couldn't get a hold of the shot, but he would have been flagged offside if it had hit the back of the net in any case. But a warning there for the Kilmarnock defence, Rory Loy.
Yeah, I think he was just off, but my goodness, he looks quick, doesn't he? It was very like the runs we seen Martin Boyle making the other night, Al, with the defender at centre back for Rangers. Goldson trying to pick him out, playing right on the shoulder of the last defender.
Lundstrom gets his head to the clearance from Will Dennis, one of Kilmarnock's 8 new signings who are in the starting 11. He's played all of the League Cup games. Kieran O'Hara, another new goalkeeper, is on the bench. And Rangers have a throw-in midway inside the Killie half right hand side to be taken by their captain James Tavernier, who once again produced some phenomenal numbers last season and looking to try and replicate that once more as Rangers look to recapture the league title and make their way back into the Champions League group stage. European football to come here on BBC Scotland on Wednesday night with Rangers against Servette, but they've got to look after league business. That has got to be their priority, even ahead of getting into the most illustrious competition in the world right now, as John Souttar has it midway inside the Killie half, plays it forward looking for Dessers, doesn't get there, but it's picked up once more, this time by Dowell. Dowell gets the ball back just at the edge of the Kilmarnock penalty area, no way through for him. Seema's kept it alive for Rangers though. Dowell gets it back to Tavernier, and Seema once more now on the right hand side for Rangers on loan from Brighton. Dowell again, right hand side of the penalty area, just trying to come in on his left foot, but Kilmarnock well organised at the back. We've played 5.5 minutes. It's Kilmarnock 0, Rangers 0 in the final game of today's Premiership games. Remember, it's Hibs St Mirren tomorrow, 3 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. We'll have live coverage of that for you here on Sports Sound as well, as Souttar probes for Rangers, just knocks it back to Nico Raskan in the centre circle, and now Lundstrom back to Conor Golson as Rangers now begin to enjoy a bit of possession and looking to try and penetrate that Kilmarnock defence.
Well, Lee's just saying to me there, Al, that Kilmarnock defence need to get up. It does look like they're deploying 5 at the back the way they've set up at the moment. If you're going to do that, you need to get your wing backs to be a little bit braver at times. You can't stand next to your other defenders. So Corey Ndaba, Danny Armstrong need to try and push back the way, not just defend.
Here's Tavernier up against Ndaba on the right hand side for Rangers, back with Lundstrom about 35 yards from the goal line, right hand side, 1-2 with Raskan. Rangers patient. Lammers with his back to goal manages to keep it. Gets a 1-2 with Tavernier, back with the Rangers captain, and Rangers good in possession so far as Souttar picks up. But they will want to try and pose some sort of test to Will Dennis before long. Here's Raskan out to the right hand side for Tavernier. Tavernier looks to whip it to the back post. It's not a bad ball. It's all the way through though, and cleared by Armstrong, who does, as Rory said, look like to be playing in almost a right wing back position with Mayo, Dees and Finlay as the central 3. Lammers outside the Kilmarnock penalty area, gets it back to Dowell.
I think Rory's spot on here. It's too easy. Rangers have got far too much comfortable possession here. It's just a matter of time. Kilmarnock need to get out and put pressure on the ball and some contact.
Lundstrom finds Seema inside the penalty area, tries the flick, and it's just an easy take in the end for Will Dennis. Just for a moment looked like he might have to stretch for that one, but Seema with the cute little flick didn't really come off, and it's Kilmarnock 0, Rangers 0, almost 8 minutes on the clock.
He's looked lively, Seema. It was inventive. It was all he could really try given the circumstances. He was never going to trouble the goalkeeper Will Dennis, but having played for Dundee, St Mirren, Falkirk, I know coming to these types of places as a lone striker, Marley Watkins is going to have a long day of chasing the ball down. If he does get an opportunity in front of goal, he's going to have to take it, because he might not get many.
The proverbial graveyard shift, as they call it, Rory.
That is the one. I've done that many a times.
It's a free kick though to Kilmarnock on the left hand side, but midway inside the Rangers half, although they are being pushed back by today's referee Willie Collum. And Matty Kennedy, another of the new signings, over this one with the right foot, or Danny Armstrong potentially with the left. It's whipped in from the left foot. It's a good ball to the back post, and look like Mayo coming in late against his former club. No senior appearances for Rangers, several loans. Last season he was with Kilmarnock, and that's become permanent, and he's stuck into the back post there, but he couldn't find the target, and it's a goal kick to Rangers to be taken by their new custodian. It'll take a while perhaps for Rangers fans to get used to seeing someone other than Alan McGregor in goal for him, such a brilliant servant, but Jack Butland now with the opportunity to make his name as Lammers is fouled, much to the dismay there of the Kilmarnock fans. The award given by Willie Collin will be a free kick to Rangers.
I'm not sure about that one, Al. I think he's got lucky there. He's tried to twist and turn out of trouble. He's been caught. He's took a bit of a dive and got away with that. I think he's conned Willie Collin there a little bit.
2 balls in the park, so John Lundstrom will have to dispense with one of those, which he has done, and now he'll take the free kick just outside the penalty area of Jack Butland, and he turns it back to the keeper inside his 6-yard box. Butland all in orange will send this long through the middle looking for Dessers, but it's headed away by Mayo into the centre circle, picked up by Lammers, gets it back from Dowell and out to the left hand side to Borna Barisic, who some people I think felt might depart in the summer, and he might yet, with Ridvan Yilmaz also looking to make that left back spot his own, but he's got a strain today, Michael Beale says, so Barisic in his usual left back role, takes the throw in back to Suter, and back now with Golson just inside his own half, only Rangers player back there other than Butland. Now Suter, who had a horrendous opening day last season, his Rangers debut on the artificial surface at the Tony Macaroni against Livingston, at fault for the opening goal, and then didn't play again for many months. It looks to be growing into that Rangers shirt now, John Suter, as there's no way through for Tavernier, and Marley Watkins will try and take Kilmarnock up the pitch. He pokes it beyond Lundstrom and chases his own ball forward down near the corner flag now, but he's dispossessed by Connor Goldson, who just slips it back in field to Lundstrom. 11 minutes in and it's still goalless.
Yeah, really good play from Marley Watkins there. That's what you want from your striker. He was a little bit unlucky in the end. Connor Goldson retained possession. There's a little bit of frustration from Derek McInnes. He's got a lot of numbers in the middle of the pitch at times, and the ball fallen a few times, and Rangers have been first to it. I think that'll be a source of frustration, but his team looked good on the counter-attack, on the offensive.
Put forward by the Killie skipper for the afternoon, Brad Lyons. Kilmarnock fans howling for a free kick as Matty Kennedy was bundled to the ground, but there was nothing wrong with that according to the referee, as Stuart Finlay back here on loan from Oxford United. His 4th spell, incredibly, one of those permanent, and 3 on loan.
I signed him one of the times on loan from Newcastle. Great servant to the club, great player, great pace. I think if he
grabs a few goals as well, Lee.
Yeah, I think if he gets a little bit more belief and he gets settled, he wouldn't be far away from the Scotland squad for me.
Yeah, he's been in it before, hasn't he? He scored in his only appearance for Scotland, and he's got a couple already this season. Rory, you're right, scored against Wraith and Albion Rovers as the ball is played through by Rangers, but it's a comfortable take for Will Dennis. Played 12 minutes at Rugby Park in the final Saturday game in the Premiership, and it's still no goals and nothing really for either goalkeeper to worry about thus far, as Dennis kicks from the edge of his area, goes long, one for Golson to attack, beats Ndaba in the air, and it's out for a throw-in just in front of Michael Beale's technical area. Ndaba is another who's been brought in on loan, this time from Ipswich. He did have a spell at Ayr United, Corey Ndaba. Says he's at the better of the Ayrshire clubs now. I'm not going to offer any opinion on that.
I wouldn't.
Al, just looking at the front line of Rangers, there's an awful lot of height there. You look at Dessers, Sima, Lammers, Dowell likes to arrive late into the box. Rangers just maybe need to move the ball a little bit quicker through midfield. If you're going to go from one side to the other to try and get passes, to get crosses in the box, you want to try and do that in at least passes as possible, to get it from Tavernier to Barisic or vice versa. In midfield there's maybe 4 and 5 passes, but maybe you could do it in 2 or 3.
I agree with you, Rory. Do you think the difficulty of it is the pitch making the ball so slow as well?
Aye, quite possibly. It could be that. I think there's that little bit of nerves in the first game of the season. Nobody wants to give the ball away or be the one to give it away, but if you are going to work the ball into those areas, you need to make sure it gets there before Kilmarnock get time to shuffle across.
Rangers have it, halfway line, Golson to Lundstrom, to the old guard if you like, to of the remnants of the title winning side under Stephen Gerrard and Michael Beale, but they've got a lot of work to do to make up the ground on Celtic, despite the change of manager there, as Goldson fires it diagonal. Tavernier, I think, was just trying to play it into the penalty area. A bit of what Rory Loy might describe as swaz.
Back me up, Lee. Is swaz a commonly word used in the football environment?
Yeah, yes, of course it is. I just didn't have the ability to swaz it.
Well, if you didn't, I certainly didn't.
Anyway, it's a new word on me in midweek, but I'm going to drop it into conversation as often as possible from now on. But anyway, Tavernier's swaz ended tamely up in the arms of Will Dennis, and he clears long. Again, it's Goldson this time beating Ndaba in there. Again, up at the edge of the Rangers penalty area. Picked up though by Watkins, left-hand side. And then knocked back by McGuinness for Lions. Finlay now on the halfway line. Plays it down the left to McGuinness once more. Ndaba infield for Kennedy. Kennedy tracked by Lundstrom about 15 yards away from the goal line. He's done really well. Kennedy then goes down. He wasn't fouled by Lundstrom according to Willie Coleman. Had a good view of it. Tried to get in between a couple of players and hit the deck. But the referee said no foul. The home fans already, I think, feeling a little bit hard done by today's man in the middle. As Goldson heads it forward. Robbie Dees, brought in from Inverness, Cally Thistle, is underneath it, comes back to Goldson, then Suter plays it back to Butland. Killie fans looking for a handball there. Again, nothing forthcoming for them. Quarter of an hour gone, no goals, no real test for either goalkeeper, and I guess Kilmarnock, as much as they have had to defend a fair amount, will be pretty pleased by the way this opening 15 minutes has gone. Here is a long ball, sorry Lee, just to cut you off, as a long ball came into that Killie penalty area, but it's dealt with again. Dees gets the header, Finlay out of play. I'll let you come in on that, Lee.
Yeah, I think it's been a decent start for Kilmarnock. They've maybe, to be a little bit critical, sat a little bit deep, allowing Rangers easy possession. A couple of half chances for Rangers, but I think Kilmarnock will be looking to hit the counter-attack, just like they've done quite effectively so far.
Goldson has it at the back, and it's Lundstrom right hand side, plays it into Tavernier. Sliding challenge from Lions, breaks the way of Dowell. He can't pick out a teammate, and forward comes Kyle McGuinness. Lundstrom had a little nibble at him, a bit of a naughty one, but McGuinness was able to continue, and it is a throw in to Kilmarnock, left hand side, midway inside the Rangers half. And Kilmarnock, having navigated successfully the League Cup group stage, they're into the next round. They'll have a knockout phase tie here against the holders Celtic. Okay, Derek McInnes was a bit put out at not being seeded, having won the group, but such are the foibles of the seeding system, as Kilmarnock makes some headway down the left hand side, but it's out for a throw into Rangers, which is quickly taken by Raskan. And Goldson has it, plays it square for Suter, taking a little bit of a chance at the back. He is a good football player and he likes to bring it out from the back, but maybe a few hearts and mouths there. He gets the pass off quite comfortably to Lundstrom and then gets it back once more, the former Hearts defender. Then clips it over the top, looking for the run of Sima. He's just overcooked the pass, and out comes Dennis, grabs that just before Sima gets there. He does look to have pace to burn, Abdallah Sima, who played against Rangers in the Europa League a few years back for Sparta Prague. Hasn't yet really made the impact at Brighton that he would have hoped to. A couple of loan spells from them, but Rangers will be hoping to get the best out of him over the course of this season. It's knocked long by the Killie keeper Will Dennis, with just about 17 and a half minutes on the clock. No goals, and Ndaba picks up left hand side for Killie. Back in field to Lyons as captain. He switches the play out to the right hand side to Danny Armstrong. Chance to run at Barisic. Goes on the outside initially, comes off Barisic. He'll try and prevent the corner, and just about manages to do that. It's out for a throw-in over on the far side to Kilmarnock, a few yards away from the corner flag. Kilmarnock nil, Rangers nil.
One switch of play, one pass diagonally right across the pitch, leaves Danny Armstrong one-on-one with Barisic. He's unlucky not to get a corner there. That's what I'm saying about overcooking the passes in midfield. Kilmarnock, no nonsense, get it out there, let him run one-on-one and create opportunities.
David Watson on the right hand side with a long throw in into the penalty area. Finlay doesn't get much on it. It falls to Danny Armstrong, who lets rip with the volley, but it's way over the top of Jack Butland's goal. Ambitious effort from Danny Armstrong, who does look to have started the season in confident mood once more. And well, he might, having scored 12 goals in his 47 appearances last season, and don't know if there was any interest being shown in him over the transfer window, but certainly Kilmarnock will be desperately keen to hold on to him after a terrific season last time out. Rangers have it at the back. Raskan takes it with his back to goal and then tries to spin away there from Watkins, who sticks with him. The ball's now with Tavernier. Lundstrom on the right hand side, comes back the way towards the halfway line. Kilmarnock trying to cut off the angles. Kennedy working hard there, but the ball is played to Suter and now out to the left hand side for Barisic. Barisic with the early cross from deep. That's a comfortable take for Will Dennis. Poor cross from Barisic, who's got much better quality than that. We've almost played 20 minutes here and still no goals to speak of and no real efforts.
Poor quality there for Barisic in a wide area. Usually got half decent delivery. It just looked a little bit rushed there.
Tavernier has it. Right hand side. Back in field for Goldson. Now it's Suter. Brings it forward. Midway inside the Kilmarnock half now. Out to Barisic. Barisic up against Armstrong. Swings it in. That's a better ball, but still too close to the goalkeeper, who takes that one under a little bit of pressure, and it remains Kilmarnock 0, Rangers 0.
Yeah, I'm just almost trying to work out the formation Rangers are playing. I know Michael Beale likes a lot of rotation in midfield, which makes it difficult at times, but when they're going forward, it's almost like that box that teams have started to play with. You've got your back four, you've got your two holding midfielders, and then you've got another two in behind the strikers, and I think they're trying to get it wide to the fullbacks, get the ball in the box. Those four players go and attack it.
Sindaba under a bit of pressure, going back towards the halfway line, but he keeps possession well and then gets the ball back from Finlay, then pokes it to Lyons. He was caught there by Raskan, who pleads his innocence. It will be a free kick and nothing more to Kilmarnock, more or less on the halfway line and on the left hand touchline as Kilmarnock come forward as we approach the midway point in the first period. And Rangers yet to really exert any authority on the game. Kilmarnock coping pretty well with what they've thrown at them so far. Tavernier cuts out the diagonal and then Lundstrom sets off down the right hand side. Finlay trying to stay with him. Lundstrom checks back. Right hand side for Rangers, midway inside the Kilmarnock half. Now it's Lammers, the left footed player playing on the right hand side. Breakdown in communication there with Dessers, who couldn't pick up on the pass, and Kilmarnock break forward. Dees helps it into the feet of Watkins. Watkins does well, and sliding in there was Dowell. Couldn't get anything on the ball. McGuinness was there first. Watkins, he's challenged by Raskan, then in comes David Watson, and he's going to be penalised. Willie Collum's going to have a word with him. Again, I don't think he's going to produce the yellow, but I think essentially, Lee, as far as I could read there, Kilmarnock players getting a little bit frustrated that a couple of fouls weren't given in their favour, and eventually they have a nibble and the free kick is awarded.
I think there were fouls as well. I think Raskin's made a little bit too much of that, to be honest, but well done, Willie Collum. He's not bought it, he's not brought the yellow card out, which was probably the easiest thing to do, so well done to the referee.
I think as well, Lee, just going back to that last move, I think if Dessers is your 9, he tries to run in behind, and Lammers is clearly looking for him just to be a wall against the centre back. And I think if you're flipping round the corner, and that just comes with communication, playing with each other over time, but I think if you're going to play through the middle and you're that size of a player, then just be a wall pass.
Yeah, he's in the box and he's trying to run in behind. There's not much space, so he needs to create angles and to receive it. You're spot on.
Rangers have it at the halfway point in this first period. Kilmarnock 0, Rangers 0. Listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Plenty of excitement already this afternoon, and hopefully more to come over the course of the next hour and a bit here at Rugby Park. No goals to speak of thus far as Goldson has it at the back, forces it out to Tavernier, who lifts it over the top looking for Dessers, again looking to run in behind, but Finlay gets there first, picked up by Dowell and then played to Lammers. Seema now with his back to goal just outside the penalty area, clips out to the right hand side. Tavernier will get there, helps it back into the box. It's away by Mayo, out to Watson on the right hand side. Barisic trying to keep the pressure on for Rangers, but it breaks the way of Armstrong, who just thumps it up towards the halfway line. Suter there first, heads it back towards the Kilmarnock penalty area. Cleared once more. Rangers won it back. Sima was going for a goal, but Willie Collum had seen an infringement ahead of that. John Lundstrom, the man, penalised for climbing over the back of a Kilmarnock player. It will be a free kick to Killie midway inside their own half. 24 in. Kilmarnock nil, Rangers nil.
Yeah, I think the ball was there to be won for John Lundstrom. He probably just slightly overstepped in terms of the laws of the game, the way he went in to challenge for the ball, and Kilmarnock get the free kick. But Rangers looked a little bit better there in terms of trying to create chances, because it's not been easy, and on this pitch when it's sticky, as Lee's already said, it's not easy. But Derek McInnes will be absolutely fine with how the game's going, as long as Rangers stay in front of Kilmarnock, aren't getting in behind.
Kilmarnock have lost their last 6 meetings with Rangers. As I mentioned earlier, going back to February 2020, a 2-1 win here on that occasion. But they've provided a good match for Rangers thus far, as Tavernier finds it difficult to get out of his own final third there, and goes back to Jack Butland, who plays it up towards the halfway line. But a commanding header there by Robbie Dees, who looks a good acquisition. I've been impressed by him in the Championship last couple of seasons at Inverness, Cali Thistle, and he's got a chance to step up. Kilmarnock running into bother as Raskan wins possession back for Rangers, feeds it out to Sima. This could be problematic for Kilmarnock, but Sima is held up initially, at least, as Barisic takes possession. Back with Dowell. Barisic once more, left hand side, midway inside the Kilmarnock half, and it's a bit pedestrian from Rangers there. They had the chance to break quickly and it's all broken down, and now Kilmarnock have got everyone back behind the ball as Suter plays it square to Goldson. Goldson out to the right hand side for Tavernier. Lundstrom picks up inside the centre circle, out to Barisic. Barisic, first time low ball in, swept away by Robbie Dees, picked up by Dowell. Poor first touch from him. And forward come Kilmarnock, a chance for them to counter. It's Matty Kennedy leading that on the right hand side, up against Goldson. Kelly flooding bodies forward. Ball comes in on the right hand side. It's a bit much on it, but Watkins will retrieve left hand side of the penalty and knocks it back in, away by Tavernier, picked up by Lammers.
Brilliant play for Kilmarnock there. Won it, Rory. It was a great break. Unlucky just not to pick somebody out with the cross, but it just shows you when Rangers go all in and Kelly can catch them on the counter.
They have it back once more with McGuinness on the halfway line. It's Lyons, plays it square for Mayo out on the right hand side. Armstrong coming in off the right, gets it back from Lyons, back with Lyons once more, midway inside the Rangers half. Good football from Kilmarnock. Watson sweeps it in from the right hand side. It's a good looking ball, it's just taken off the head of Watkins by Tavernier. Comes to Ndaba, left hand side, back into the box it goes. Raskin had to be careful there, he sweeps it away before Armstrong can get there. Kelly have it back once more. The home fans like what they're seeing in the last couple of minutes. As McGuinness back to Ndaba, left hand side, closed down by Lundstrom. 27 minutes in, 0-0 at Rugby Park between Kilmarnock and Rangers, as Finlay pops it forward. Watson gives chase. Suter having to be careful, takes it outside the penalty and then launches it up towards the halfway line for Dessers. Breaks kindly for Sima, finds Dessers once more. Dessers could be in here, trying to get back. There was Mayo, down goes Dessers inside the penalty area, and eventually the offside flag goes up. A delayed flag once more, had the Rangers fans on their feet just for a moment, but the offside flag again goes up against Dessers, and it remains Kilmarnock nil, Rangers nil.
Yeah, well, Derek McInnes was pulling his hair out there. I'm not quite sure about the offside, to be honest, but what a recovering tackle that was anyway. But what did I say about Dessers being a wall? He just backs in, he's a wall, he's hard to get around, and it pops the ball down to Sima, who plays him through on goal. The first decent move, I would say, by Rangers came on the counter-attack actually. Like I said, I'd need to see the offside again, but it took a little bit long to pull the trigger there. Dessers, he had an opportunity to do so.
Free kicks taken long, and Watkins gets on to McGuinness, can't quite make anything of it. Lee, you didn't have a problem with the Mayo challenge there that came in, if that hadn't been offside?
No, I wouldn't. There was obviously contact there, but I think he clearly wins the ball, and the ball clearly deviated. So no problem at all with that. I think it was Stuart Finlay that might have, obviously it was offside, but it looked close. It looked as if Stuart Finlay played him on. Yeah,
well, VAR in operation, of course. Andrew Dallas is the man in charge in that regard. As Kilmarnock come forward, Jack Butland's come way out his goal, and he really had to get that right, and he did, to knock it away from Matty Kennedy right at the edge of his box. I thought he was taking a real chance, but he got plenty of the ball as well to knock it out of play. But Kilmarnock all of a sudden over the top, looked like they might have been in. 29 in, still 0-0.
It's a very straightforward run that gets Matty Kennedy in behind.
Here's Watson, edge of the penalty, just shreds on the ball, and then Watkins is taken down by Goldson. Play continues with Kennedy trying to get the shot away, and it's semi-blocked. Willie Collins making the point that he played the advantage, but I think Kilmarnock would have taken the free kick on the edge of the box all day long.
Yeah, I can't believe he's not just gave the free kick. I think Willie Collins just tried to be a little bit smart there. Kilmarnock could potentially have had a free kick 19 yards out for goal.
This is the issue I've got with the referees. Seem to think it's an advantage simply if you've still got the ball.
Yeah.
That's not the case. You either decide is the free kick an advantage, or is the fact that your build-up play and where you've got the ball, is that more of an advantage? And Lee, you're absolutely right, 19 yards for goal.
Kilmarnock have a free kick on their left-hand side, but with half an hour played, you'd imagine that Derek McInnes is the happier of the two managers, and the Kilmarnock fans the happier of the two sets of supporters inside Rugby Park this afternoon. Watkins lays it off for Watson, who plays it all the way out to the left hand side for Ndaba. Ndaba takes a good first touch, then touches it back to Kennedy. He's thrown it into the 6-yard box, but it's a comfortable take there for Jack Butland. But Rangers certainly not having it all their own way on the opening day of the league season, as it's still goalless with half an hour played. Raskin plays it for Goldson, who got away with one just a few moments ago on the edge of his own penalty area, taking Watkins right out of the play, but Willie Collum playing the advantage, which came to nothing for Matty Kennedy. And that's why we still have a goalless scoreline as Suter brings it forward. He's almost up at the edge of the Kilmarnock penalty area before he lays it off to Sima. Sima now out to the right hand side for Tavernier. Tavernier about 30 yards from goal. You are seeing the ball sticking on the pitch 2 or 3 times. It is causing difficulty for both sets of players, in fairness, as Lundstrom sliding in there was Brad Lyons to get the ball before Lundstrom could capitalise down the right hand side, and it's out for a throw in to Rangers about 20 yards from the corner flag right hand side. And it's difficult to say that any of the new signings have made a huge impression so far, Lee McCullough.
No, Dessers played his part a little bit in the game. Sima, for me, has probably looked the biggest threat with his pace, kicking on the left hand side, looking to be positive and take people on. But other than that, I think it's been pretty quiet from Rangers. I think Rangers have got another gear to go up. I don't think the pitch is helping them. I think they need a little bit of rain to come down to make the ball move quicker. But if the pitch is not going to be ideal, then they need to find a way.
Well, absolutely. Michael Beale making the point pre-match that their away form needs to be better, generally speaking, but absolutely these are the kind of obstacles you're going to have to overcome if you want to be title contenders, and that is very much on Rangers' agenda this season, as John Lundstrom plays it square, and he finished 7 points behind Celtic last season. 92 points, a pretty good haul actually. He would have won the league in 4 of the last 8 campaigns, but Ange Postecoglou's Celtic just too good again last campaign, as Raskin picks up in the middle of the park for Rangers. We've played 32.5 minutes, we've had no goals so far. Remember in the earlier games, Celtic getting their defence of their title after a winning start, 4-2, not maybe entirely convincing against Ross County, but good enough certainly in Brendan Rodgers' first game back in charge. Dundee 1, Motherwell 1, Livingston 0, Aberdeen 0 and St Johnstone 0. Hearts 2. Highlights to come on Sports Scene this evening at 7:30 on the BBC Scotland channel. Good challenge there by Ndaba to win it from Tavernier, then plays the ball forward, laid off by Kennedy, looking for his former Aberdeen teammate Marley Watkins, who's done really well to win his side a corner kick, and the home fans on their feet to applaud what they saw there.
Yeah, I mean, we've spoken about the pitch being sticky and how Rangers have struggled to move the ball quickly, but in fairness, Kilmarnock have done it. Kilmarnock have passed the ball, they've passed the ball well, they've been incisive with their decision making, they've got the ball forward at the right times, and I think this must be what, their second, third, fourth corner.
This one will be from the left-hand side, swung out the way from Armstrong, and Ndaba almost got underneath that one and headed it away from goal. Just misjudged the flight of it. Perhaps thought that Finlay was going to get on it in front of him. But here it is back now with Armstrong on the left-hand side up against Kieran Dowell, trying to find room for the cross. Dowell gets the block in. Armstrong can't prevent him from getting the clearance away up towards Dessers. Robbie Dees though wins the aerial battle, and then down goes Brad Lyons. Looked like he was dragged to the ground there, but he gets away with it, does Seamer, and he brings the ball forward down the left channel for Rangers. Can he create something here? McGuinness though steps in and wins the ball back for Kilmarnock and plays it up to Armstrong, out of play, and throw into Rangers. 34 in, Kilmarnock nil, Rangers nil.
I think Stuart Finlay gets in Daba's way. He's got to be screaming at him to get out the way
from the corner.
He's got a clear header in on the goal, and Stuart Finlay's never going to reach it. But Kilmarnock looked really, really good, I must say. I think they've played exceptionally well. There was a concern after 5 minutes or so that they were dropping too deep. 100% agree with Lee, but they've managed to get up the pitch really well.
I think they look a threat for set plays as well, just as you're touching on. That's something that Derek McInnes has always been good at, back in Aberdeen as well. They've missed Ash Taylor. Obviously he's not here this season, but still I think they look a threat.
Here's Tavernier right hand side as Rangers look for a breakthrough. Lundstrom at the edge of the box. Seema almost linked with Tavernier, but Kilmarnock get it clear, and it's Marley Watkins midway inside his own half, just trying to hold the ball up. Dowell biting away there and winning it off. Young Watson, Kilmarnock clear the lines. It's all the way up the other end now with Jack Butland, who just nudges it to Suter midway inside his own half. 10 minutes till the interval, still no goals at Rugby Park, with the sun having come out in Ayrshire, and Tavernier just rolls it into the path of Raskin on the halfway line. Forward to Lundstrom and out back with Suter just inside his own half, but crossing the halfway line and knocking it out to the left hand side, where Lammers has switched wings with Seema for the moment. Here's Raskin just at the edge of the area, tries to link with Seema, but again it's cut out. Kilmarnock defence working so hard to close down the angles, close down the passes, and they're doing that to good effect so far, as it is knocked long by Lewis Mayo, who looks an astute signing by Derek McInnes. Performed so well on loan from Rangers last season. Here's Barisic, left hand side for Rangers, almost at the corner flag, and he buys the corner kick out on that left hand side for Rangers. 9 minutes to the break, Kilmarnock nil, Rangers nil.
Yeah, I think Lee just talking about set pieces. I think the first game of the season is interesting because, as Lee will tell you, I would say a good 60-70% of your Friday session is done on set pieces, for and against. And in the first game of the season, with so many new signings for both sides, it's really difficult to know what teams are going to do. So I think that's why Kilmarnock have had a bit of joy from corners, and it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
Yeah, Rangers with a corner from the left hand side. It's about to be taken by James Tavernier, the captain, right footed. And a whole host of Rangers players inside the penalty looking to get on the end of it. And it comes, Dessers is there, can he scramble across the line? Good goalkeeping in the end by Will Dennis. Very brave, down at the feet of two Rangers players, Lammers and Dessers, to prevent it crossing the goal line. And that's why it remains Kilmarnock nil, Rangers nil.
Really good goalkeeping, wasn't it?
Yeah, very, very brave goalkeeping down at the feet. Who was it? Dessers?
Dessers and Lammers were both in there looking to poke it home, but neither could get there before the keeper. Here's Raskin popping over the top for Lammers, who's back out on the right hand side. But it's really the first proper glimpse of goal that Rangers have had.
Yeah, I think both teams look a little bit uncertain at set pieces, dead balls, free kicks from wide areas and corners and things like that, so both managers will want to take advantage of it. But Rangers, from general play, they're so tight through the middle of the pitch that it's so difficult to pop a 1-2 in the edge of the box and try and get in on goal, because Kilmarnock have got bodies everywhere.
They've been slow, Rangers, too slow in possession for me. But I do think when they get the ball wide, with the quality they've got out wide with Tavernier and Barisic, and as Rory touched on, the physicality they've got now in the box now.
Your Suter, every Rangers player barring Jack Butland well inside the Kilmarnock half as they try and find a way through before the half-time interval. Still Kilmarnock battling away to ensure there's no real pressure on their goalkeeper, Will Dennis. Picked up by Suter on the halfway line. Now it's Raskin over on the left hand side, trying to get away from his marker, who is currently Marley Watkins. Here's Seema, midway inside the Kilmarnock half, left hand side, floats the right footed ball onto the head of Tavernier, who goes back the way to Lundstrom, and Kilmarnock have got Rangers where they want them, playing the game in front of them. Not been asked too many questions as yet. Here's Suter just inside the Kilmarnock half, plays a short ball to Raskan. He got a bit of room to move into here. Raskan plays a square ball to Lundstrom out to the right hand side for Tavernier. 6 to go in this first period. Tavernier at the angle of the box, coming inside, slots it through for Sima on the right hand side of the penalty, out to Lundstrom, almost in the right flank. He plays it forward, Sima flashes it across goal, but straight into the arms of Will Dennis. And with just over 5 minutes of the first half remaining, it's still goalless at Rugby Park. Brilliant take as the ball's played forward by Matty Kennedy, but then he's dispossessed by Barisic. Comes off. Kennedy last, says the assistant referee on the far side, and it's a throw into Rangers, quickly taken by Barisic. They do want to do things a bit quicker to Rangers. Lundstrom plays it forward. It's a hopeful ball down the left channel. Sima getting the better eventually of Dees, left hand side of the box. Sima has, as Rory said, looked probably Rangers' greatest threat up front in this first period. Here he is getting to the goal line, plays it into the box, comes back to Dessers, good shot, well saved by Will Dennis, get everything behind it, was straight at the keeper, but he had to get his full body behind the shot, and he did.
It's a chance, that big chance for me, and that's the biggest chance of the game. I think he's got to do better. I don't think he's hit it clean enough. He's hit the target. That's sometimes all you can ask, but I think, well, I don't know what you think, Rory, I think he got a better strike on it than that.
Aye, possibly. I think it was a bit behind him, but maybe that level of striker, you want to try and find a corner and make the keeper work, even if it's parried out for an on-rushing midfield player. But the difference is Silla is prepared to go in behind and come short. That's why he's finding a little bit more space than the rest, in my opinion, because he can do both. I'd be looking for Kieran Dowell, maybe start a little bit deeper and then burst into the box when he can, but Seamus certainly looked lively for Rangers.
There's quite a lot of fluidity about that Rangers front, 3 or 4. Seamus certainly been allowed to drift in from wide areas. His played to Dessers inside the penalty. He takes it onto his left foot. Can he get the shot away? He looks like he's delayed it far too long. My goodness, still they can't scramble it clear. Lundstrom over the top. It's deflected on its way through, but surely Cyril Dessers has to get the shot away a lot quicker.
He definitely does, but what I will say is it checks on the surface. He goes to let it through his body and strike it with his right foot. It just checks on the surface, and then he cuts inside, and that for me is when he's got to release the shot. Would you think, Lee?
I think he's got to get his shot away there. You're spot on. It's checked a little bit, so he's had to take another touch. He's done brilliant, but he's got a chance to shoot, and he's 8-10 yards out. Come on.
Yeah, I'm sure the Rangers fans were willing to pull the trigger there, but it just couldn't get out of his feet as Barisic sends in the corner. Good take again by Will Dennis, coming off his line and immediately bowls it out for the pace of Armstrong, who's out on the left hand side looking to run it. Raskan sticks with him though, and then Dowell knocks it back to Butland inside his own 6-yard box, clears. But just in the last few minutes, Rangers getting a couple of sights of Will Dennis's goal, but on both occasions certainly that Dennis was called into action. He stood up well, and Dessers also dallying far too long before Lundstrom fired over. Kilmarnock have a free kick around about the halfway line. Dessers is making his case, but it will be a free kick to Kilmarnock right in the halfway line. 2.5 minutes left of the first period, and it's still Kilmarnock 0, Rangers 0. Kelly will be well pleased, you'd imagine, having won 3 of their 4 League Cup games, drawing the other but losing on penalties here against Wraith Rovers. But it has been a positive start to the season for them, as Ndaba is just in a different wavelength there from Kyle McGuinness as he tried to come forward, and Rangers pick up possession. Raskan firing a nice diagonal out to Sima. Can Rangers move it a bit quicker here? Sima left hand side of the penalty area, gets the cross all wrong, straight behind for a goal kick to Kilmarnock. 2 minutes left in this opening period. Still Killy 0, Rangers 0.
Raskan does brilliant there. That's what Rangers need. Rangers need the quick switch of play out to Sima. You've seen Barisic on his bike going round him. It was just a little bit a lack of quality there for Sima on his left foot, but the concept of that move is, I think, what Rangers need more of.
Yeah, Michael Beale will get a chance in a couple of minutes to address any feelings that he has noticed in this first period, as will Derek McInnes, but I suspect that Derek McInnes will be pretty content with what he's seen thus far from his side. It has been, as I mentioned to him in the pre-match interview, fairly major surgery to the Achilles squad over the summer, but they seem to have bedded in pretty quickly. The League Cup campaign clearly helping in that regard. It's run out of play by Suter over on the far side. It's a Kilmarnock throw in midway inside the Rangers half. Kelly right, and Armstrong takes him to the feet of McGuinness, gets it back. Armstrong on the left foot. Oh, it's a great ball for McGuinness inside the penalty area now, right hand side, just held up there by Goldson into the final minute of the first period, down at the corner flag on the right. He's done really well there, McGuinness, to keep the ball alive. Here he is once more up against Goldson. Goldson stands up, but it's Armstrong now who has it right hand side, trying to get away from Barisic, who defends the situation well, and Raskan picks up left hand side and threads it forward for Dowell now, crossing the halfway line. Perhaps a final opportunity for Rangers to try and find a way through at the end of this first half. Now it's Lammers, now Dessers left hand side, he's just forced a bit wide, and it's good defending by Mayo. He then goes to ground. Dessers is penalised. Free kick to Kilmarnock inside their own penalty area, and the stroke of half time is Kilmarnock nil, Rangers nil.
Yeah, I don't think Derek McInnes will be too happy, despite it being that far up the pitch, that Danny Armstrong's trying a nutmeg in the 45th minute.
No injury time to be played at the end of this first half, and it's the Kilmarnock fans who rise to their feet with an ovation for their side and the industry they've shown in the first half. They have been more than a match for this new look Rangers side in competitive action for the first time this season, and on the whole pretty unimpressive. Just towards the end of the half they forced a couple of half chances, but Will Dennis initially denying Lammers and Dessers from a corner kick, and then saving from Dessers 5 minutes before the interval a relatively powerful shot straight at the keeper, and then Dessers with an opportunity to shoot a minute later. He dallied, and eventually Lundstrom fired over via deflection. That was really all Rangers had to offer in the attacking third. Jack Butland didn't have a lot to do at the other end either, mind you, but Kilmarnock will be pretty content with the way things have gone in this first half at Rugby Park. In the late kick-off, it's Kilmarnock nil, Rangers nil.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Half-time at Rugby Park, Kilmarnock nil, Rangers nil. Earlier today, Celtic beat Ross County by 4 goals to 2. David Turnbull penalty in 17 minutes, his second of the game on 42. Kyogo on 26, a lovely goal from Matt O'Reilly on 73, Jordan White on 60, and James Brown on 95 with the goals for County. It finished in D1, Motherwell 1, Theo Bayer on 45 minutes for the away side, Lyle Cameron with equaliser on 68 minutes, Livingston nil, Aberdeen nil, St Johnstone nil, Hearts 2, Yutari Oda on 75 minutes, Lawrence Shanklin right at the death on 96 minutes. In the Championship this afternoon, Dunfermline 2, Airdrie 1, Inverness Cally Thistle 1, Queen's Park 2, Morton 3, Ayr United 1, Partick Thistle 2, Wraith Rovers 2. In League 1, Falkirk 3, Annan 0, Hamilton Accies 1, Cove Rangers 0, Montrose 0, Kelty Hearts 2, Queen of the South 3, Alloa 4, Stirling Albion 1, Edinburgh City 0. And in League 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 1, Dumbarton 1, East Fife 0, Peterhead 3, Elgin City 0, Stranraer 1, the Spartans 1, Clyde 1, and Stennismuir 0, Forfar 0. So honours even in the first half at Rugby Park. Rory Law, you were saying there in commentary you've been fairly impressed with Derek McInnes' Kilmarnock.
I mean, given the fact the level of opposition they're playing, I've been very, very impressed with Derek McInnes' side. You know, they've set up to absorb pressure, but they've not really had to do it all that often. Rangers haven't managed to probe and play a penetrating pass, which has really hurt them, and they've looked excellent on the counter as well. Good opportunities and a little bit more composure at times, and they could have scored a goal or two. So I would say I've been more than just impressed. I think they've been excellent in that first half. I really, really do. I think Will Dennis looks really good in the goals. He's not had many shots to save, one from Dessers near the end, but he's looked commanding from corners at times. He's dived out Dessers' feet as well to save a ball, and Lammers was there as well. Kyle McGuinness fits the Derek McInnes blueprint to a T, in my opinion. He's a strong runner, he's got a good touch, he's tough in the tackle, he can nick a goal as well. Matty Kennedy's made some intelligent runs, and Danny Armstrong's, you know, at times tested Borna Barisic. So, you know, other than being on the score sheet, I don't think Derek McInnes could have hoped for a better first half.
And in terms of Rangers, Lee, you were saying a bit pedestrian, a bit slow at times.
Yes, I think Raskin and Lundstrom have been much of a muchness, to be honest. And I think this could be a game for Todd Cantwell. I think there's a lot of noise about why he didn't start. I think this is a great chance for him to come on. Obviously, you've got strength and depth on the Rangers bench. You've got Danilo, who the manager alluded to will come on at some stage of the game. But I just think, and it's easy to blame the pitch, it's easy because it's dry and the ball does move a little bit slower. I just think Rangers have looked a little bit slow. When they've got the switch of play in quickly, they've looked dangerous. When they've got good quality in the box, that's where probably their best chances have came from. But I just think it maybe be sitting with either Lundstrom or Raskin coming off, looking at Cantwell, and then later on Danilo could be the difference. But I agree with Rory. I think Kelly have been fantastic in that first half.
How tough is it, Lee, for a manager to make a side gel with so many new signings?
Well, usually you would say the perfect thing is time, but you're at Glasgow Rangers Football Club, that's what you don't get. I think everybody says togetherness comes, well, used to say togetherness comes from the ones that drink together and all that old school. I think winning games of football brings togetherness, and that they just need to find a way today. They need to get a little bit of momentum going for the league campaign. Then you're getting into that Old Firm game, but it's okay talking about games down the line. They've got 45 minutes to win this game, or they're under severe pressure.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yes.
It's first day of the season, it's absolutely incredible.
You wouldn't have it any other way though, would you?
No, of course. I remember Martin O'Neill saying that. I think they were a later kick-off in his first game, and Rangers had won at lunchtime, and a journalist said to him, the pressure's now on, you lose today, you're under severe pressure, and it's welcome to Scottish football. And I suppose the players, you know that. I just wonder if some of the players that come to Scotland, Lee, it might take them a bit of time to understand the pressures of playing for the big two in Scotland. Yeah,
it's the pressures, the demands, the goldfish bowl. Look at the scenario we've had today with an early kick-off with Celtic. They've won. Rangers haven't even started the season yet, and people are saying they're playing catch-up already. They've not even kicked a ball yet. So it's just, I love it. It's the best. Some like it, some can't handle it. It's difficult, but why you couldn't have it any other way. It's exciting.
Kenny, can I just say, just on the signings, in terms of that Rangers have made, a lot of these signings are in their early to mid-20s. Some pushing 30. If you look at the likes of Dessers at 28, they scream of players who just want to be at a club, be valued, play regularly, be important, be adored by the fans. And what I'm about to say isn't a criticism of the recruitment. It absolutely isn't. It's just an observation. I've left Leon Balogun out of this, given he's 35. He's had a lot of clubs, and I think he's been brought in as cover. I don't think he's been brought in to play every week and make a regular impression in the team. So from the other 8 signings, the average age of the 8 signings is just over 25, and they've had 42 clubs, including loans, between them. I think that these players are screaming for a club just to take them in, look after them. They've got to perform, of course they do, but they're well travelled. They've been from club to club. I think they just need, and Rangers is a great club to come and do it at, but like I said, that was my only question mark over some of the signings, is how much they've been around and things like that, and how difficult it is for these players to gel in this team. Now the big issue Michael Beale's got is Ange Postecoglou did it, and he did it so impressively. So that whole gel, we need time, it simply isn't going to stand up in the eyes of the supporters.
Yeah, and the added pressure, Lee, for Michael Beale is he's been backed. It's not just the amount of players that he's brought in, but they've spent a fair bit of money here. And if you do get such a thing as a honeymoon period as an Old Firm manager, he perhaps had that last season. I don't think there was too much expectation, but right now it's game on. He needs to deliver the title this season.
He needs to win the title this season. I completely agree. Last season, he could say I didn't have a lot of the players weren't mine, and inherited these players, and he's made 9 signings. This team is his team.
Yeah.
So let's get the excuses out the way. There's no excuses now. Even playing field for Rangers and Celtic. Let's see who's the best. But I completely agree with you. Rangers have to win this game today. Rangers were under pressure before the game started. If they don't win this game today, think of the pressure getting into the European qualifiers.
Listen, there is no doubt about that. No doubt about that. A huge week ahead for Rangers. In terms of Kilmarnock, Rory, they had a very good League Cup campaign, despite Derek McInnes being fairly vocal in the timing of the competition. I have to say, they will know when it's going to be. It shouldn't be any great surprise, but they came through that. Where do you see the strengths in this Kilmarnock side?
Well, I've ran through a couple of them already. I think Kyle McGuinness is a good signing if he can stay fit. He's had his injury issues at times. Marley Watkins, I think, is going to be a good foil for Kyle Vassell. But last season under Derek McInnes, I don't particularly, these managers say I want to get to 40 points, for example. I think if you're a Stephen Robinson or a Davy Martindale, I don't see why your eyes wouldn't be fixated on that potentially last place in the top 6, unless one of the Edinburgh sides or Aberdeen aren't particularly great. Outside of the team that gets promoted from the Championship, that should be survival. And trying to bed yourself into the league, and Derek McInnes did it last season, and I think that Kilmarnock will go from strength to strength under Derek McInnes and really establish themselves as a Premiership side again, and be pushing for top 6 come the end of the season. I think he's got big boys at the back, and Dees, Findlay, Mayo, Brad Lyons. I'm surprised to see him starting the game, to be honest. I know he's been in and out the side, but he's got the captain's armband on and he's fluent a few tackles. Fair play to him. I think he's got a really good young player in David Watson. Kyle McGuinness complements that well, and of course the threat of Danny Armstrong. Matty Kennedy, an experienced campaigner. I think he's put together a really good side, Derek McInnes.
Right, guys, you've got a couple of minutes to get your predictions together. So we're looking for top, bottom and surprise package. All our pundits have taken part in this today, and of course it will be brought up throughout the season on Open All Mics. Derek McInnes, of course, without his trusty lieutenant Tony Docherty this afternoon. He's out on his own now. He is Dundee manager. He kicked off his league managerial campaign this afternoon at home to Motherwell. It finished 1 apiece. Let's now hear from Tony Docherty. He spoke with our reporter Tyrone Smith. Tony Docherty there. It finished in D1, Motherwell 1. Will either of these clubs feature in the predictions from Lee McCulloch and Rory Loy? We will find out after this game at Rugby Park, because the teams are back out. Let's get back to Lee, Rory and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks, Kenny. Yeah, teams are back out and we are just about ready to get back underway. Doesn't look like there are any changes from either side at the break, so it's as you were at the start of the first period as Rangers prepare to kick us off, going from right to left in the second half. If we look at it from the back of the main stand, both managers having had the last 15 minutes or so to change anything they were unhappy about in the first period, but I imagine from Derek McInnes' point of view it would very much be a case of asking for more of the same in the second half, and of course, if at all possible, to add a goal to that. Here is Sima on the right hand side early on for Rangers, looking to try and create. Knocks it back to Lundstrom. His attempted cross is charged down and out to the right hand side. It'll be a throw into Rangers, and guys will just keep their eyes out for any tactical tweaks.
I think there has been potentially a tactical tweak. Lundstrom get back into a back three, the right hand side of a back three, and it looks like a 3-5-2 formation with Dessers and Sima up front as the two strikers. So this will be interesting. It would be, I think, Kilmarnock potentially could change then, and Derek likes to mirror the opponent's tactics in the games. Chance.
Dees played it forward, but Butland gets there before Matty Kennedy can make any inroads. But yeah, we'll just keep an eye on that. Lundstrom did drift back towards the defensive area initially, but he seems to have slotted back into midfield. It is an area he sometimes just goes back and picks, to pick up possession almost, Lee. But we'll keep an eye on that one as Lammers comes forward down the right hand side. And Dava though in the way, and he clears his lines for Kilmarnock. Tavernier seeing the ball out of play. It'll be a Rangers throw in over on the far side, midway inside the Killie half. A couple of minutes played in this second period. Still no goals in this one. It was goalless too between Livingston and Aberdeen. A lot of people expected Aberdeen to hit the ground running, but Davy Martindale's side earning a draw. Here come Rangers forward, but Tavernier won't get onto that pass from Dessers. And the longer it stays at 0-0, Rory, the more likely we are to see the likes of Todd Cantwell and Danilo make their entrance.
Well, with passes like that, certainly. That looked really lazy and really poor from Dessers there. Outside of the boot, didn't even look, massively overhit. I just wonder whether Michael Beale's overcomplicating things slightly.
Here's Armstrong, right hand side for Kilmarnock. Into the penalty he comes. It's Barisic who gets something on it, knocked away by Suter in there as Watkins tried to make something of the ball into the penalty area, and Dava down the left hand side, picked up by McGuinness. Back with Ndaba midway inside the Rangers half. Was it forward looking for the run there of David Watson, but it was well off target, and it's comfortable for Jack Butland. Played 48 minutes, still Kilmarnock 0, Rangers 0. Lundstrom is again back in that sort of right hand side of a back three position, so pretty fluid, you'd have to say, from Michael Beale. Here is Lundstrom just inside his own half.
What Michael done last season at times, he had a formation in and out of possession, and I think that's what we're maybe seeing a little bit of here. Two strikers at the moment, yet they need to get the quick switch of play in.
Here's Suter, but 30 yards from goal. That's hugely ambitious and miles off target from John Suter, and it's a goal kick to Kilmarnock, and they'll be more than happy to see the centre half come forward and try his luck from 30 yards.
But why does Raskin pass to Suter and not Barisic? I mean, literally Barisic is one-on-one with his fullback to get a cross into the box, and yet it's a 10-yard pass followed by another 10-yard pass, and then you've got John Suter shooting from the edge of the box, which, no disrespect to John Suter, you would rather have other players in the team doing that.
Goal kick taken by Dennis, flicked on. Suter tries to get it clear, but it's picked up by Watson, who drives forward down the right hand side for Kilmarnock. In steps Dowell, he gets it back to Suter just on the edge of Rangers penalty there. Raskin pops it off to Dowell, then Sima, and now it's Raskin with the outside of the right boot. It's a very difficult pass to play, and he doesn't execute it at all well, and Dennis clears, but it's fallen to Tavernier on the halfway line. There's a chance for the Rangers captain to drive his team forward. Plays it in looking for Dessers, it's over him, headed away by Deeds. Dowell tries the disguised pass, but it's well read, and it's cleared up towards Jack Butland's penalty area, and the keeper takes a couple of touches, then rolls it back inside his box. 4 and a bit minutes, almost 5 minutes actually played in this second period, and it's still goalless as Lundstrom picks up the ball and then clips it over the top, looking for the pace of Sima over the top once more. Mayo sticking to his task, knocks it behind for a Rangers corner, left hand side.
Sima again, a pace, a threat with that pace he has, just a simple ball over the top, and Rangers get a corner here. I think with Tavernier's delivery, anything could happen here.
Tavernier from the left hand side as Rangers look to open their goal scoring account for the season. Kilmarnock looking to keep the back door closed as Tavernier swings one in towards the back post. Body's hitting the deck. It was Suter who got his head to it, but it's well wide. Connor Goldson claiming to Willie Collins he's been dragged to the ground, and there of course VAR will be checking any sort of incident inside the penalty area, but as it stands it'll be a goal kick to Kilmarnock, and it's Kilmarnock 0, Rangers 0.
Yeah, it's very difficult to see from up here what actually went on, but to me it looked like two players going for the ball. Connor Goldson realising he's not going to make it, maybe going down a little bit too easily. He's a big boy, I don't think that's enough to pull him down.
I think play is just going to be allowed to resume. Yeah, any check is swiftly dealt with by Andrew Dallas in the VAR room, and Kilmarnock can try and come forward here, and it's McGuinness out to the right hand side for Armstrong. McGuinness once more on the right, up against Barisic, about 10 yards away from the goal line. Back to Armstrong. It's given away though by McGuinness eventually. Knocked forward by Raskam. It's a hopeful ball more than anything else, and Kennedy could be in here on the right hand side of the box. Cuts it back, Suter's there first and just hoofs it out of play. Safety first from John Suter as Kilmarnock try and not only hold Rangers but get a goal themselves, which would really put the cat amongst the pigeons as far as Rangers were concerned. Here's Kennedy away from Dowell, then knocks it forward for Watson inside the box. Well read though by John Suter, comes across and clears the danger. Still though, Kilmarnock will try to come forward. It comes back to Kennedy, gets the volley in, and down goes Butland inside his 6-yard box to take that one. A relatively comfortable save, but a decent effort from Matty Kennedy. 52 on the clock, Killie 0, Rangers 0.
Well, Borna Barisic has got good pass.
Yes, Dessers for Dowell, and back to Dessers, left hand side of the box, tries to force it across goal. Dees knocks it behind. Dees reckon it came back off Dessers, but it will be another Rangers corner on the left hand side.
Well, Borna Barisic is standing admiring the view there, because that was ridiculous defending. He didn't even move, and he's got John Suter to thank after that again for covering for him. He just looks so low in confidence at times, Barisic, and then he just produces moments of sheer magic and quality with crosses, but defensively he looks short of confidence.
Yeah, he looked quite lackadaisical at times, Barisic, can't he? Loses focus in important situations as Tavernier lines up this corner kick. Danny Armstrong just pulled back full 10 yards, sent in by Tavernier. It's another dangerous ball, but Killie deal with it well, and it's knocked out of play by Matty Kennedy. 0-0 it stands, 53 played.
Tremendous delivery there for Tavernier. Any contact and that's a goal. That's what he brings. That was a real bit of quality there.
Rangers probably haven't got enough balls like that into the box, though, certainly from open play. A couple of corners they've managed to send in, but here is Tavernier again back in his right back position, plays it back to Lundstrom in the halfway line. Still no sign of a change. A few Rangers substitutes out, warming up certainly, but don't look to be imminent as the ball's played back to Jack Butland. First time he clears it up long, looking for Dessers. Dessers nods it down, but only to Kyle McGuinness, and it's picked up by Brad Lyons, the Kilmarnock captain, as Dowell and Lammers try to get back at him. Now Armstrong picks up, plays it forward, looking for Kennedy, and Tavernier just left that for Jack Butland, who must have given him a shout. Good communication there by the keeper, who's looked sound when called upon, certainly, as has his opposite number at the other end, Will Dennis. Raska now bursting forward, brilliant backtracking by Marley Watkins there to win it back for Kilmarnock. He's back with Will Dennis, the Kilmarnock keeper. Raskin wasn't happy, but Marley Watkins did superbly there, tracked him all the way, and Kilmarnock have the ball back.
I think that sums up Kilmarnock's performance today. Just giving it all for the manager. Marley Watkins chased back 60 yards there just to win that ball back. Tremendous togetherness shown on the pitch.
It's out for a Rangers throw in midway inside their own half, quickly taken by Barisic to Suter, who squares it across the face of the 18-yard box to Lundstrom, quickly moves it out to Tavernier. Tavernier crossing the halfway line on the right hand side into the feet of Sima. Now Lundstrom continuing his run forward, but Ndaba steps in, gives it to Tavernier only. Chested by McGuinness. Rangers claiming for handball, but it's picked up by Raskin now. Midway inside the Killie half. Dessers couldn't take the pass in his stride, and out comes Dennis. Another brave bit of goalkeeping, alert goalkeeping, and he dives at the feet of Dessers to take possession for his side. 55 and a half played. Come on, 0 Rangers 0.
His decision making, Will Dennis, has been spot on in this game. There's been a few times that he's thinking, will he, won't he, and he's always made the right decision there. Dessers just trying to lean into the defender and get a shot away, but Will Dennis out to smother him.
Launched long by Dennis, out of play off the head of Barisic, as Todd Cantwell gets his vest off. I wonder if he will be the first change for Rangers. It'll be a throw into Kilmarnock, right hand side, more or less on the halfway line. Lewis Mayo to take. 42 appearances for Kilmarnock last season, played just about all of them except the ones against Rangers, for which he was clearly ineligible, being on loan from them. Launched long, but Robbie Dees gets his head to Jack Butland's clearance. Good strength from Matty Kennedy, caught in the challenge there by Dowell, but picked up by Lyons, who bursts forward, hits the deck, no free kick. Derek McInnes is livid with that decision from Willie Collum, but it looked to be the correct one from our vantage point as Barisic lofts it forward, but Lammers is beaten in the air, and Lyons gets his head to it again, and it's out of play for a Rangers throw. As Lee's saying, Rory, I mean, Kilmarnock absolutely giving it their all to try and get a positive result from this game.
Yeah, they are, but they're doing it with good quality at times as well. You know, it's not just a case of blood, sweat and tears. It's good quality at times, and they've been good to watch. I really enjoyed watching them in the first half. Been a little bit more scrappy in the second half, but you know, Rangers are going to have periods of dominance. But Robbie Dees in this second half has been a colossal at the back there, winning headers.
Here's Matty Kennedy, away from a couple of challenges, edge of the penalty, takes the shot on, well off target from Matty Kennedy, let himself down at the end after creating the space and opportunity, but well wide of goal as the Kilmarnock fans rally behind their side once more. 0-0 it stands.
I think I think it's time now for a substitute. Got to be for Rangers. A little bit of creativity. Cantwell, Danilo, we've mentioned them before. There's got to come that time, maybe in the next 5-10 minutes. I think Rangers just need that little bit of magic, or a player to eliminate somebody. Raskin's done okay, but he just keeps the ball moving and breaks the play up. Lundstrom the same, he's sitting a little bit deep. I think we need somebody to collect the ball and carry the ball.
Golson doing that for the moment, crossing the halfway line out to Tavernier. There's a bit of activity in the Rangers bench, but it's actually Leon Balogun who's been spoken to by one of the management team just at the moment. Might have to be, you'd imagine he would only come on if there was an injury problem at the back. Here's Connor Goldson stepping forward from the back again as he clips it into the penalty area. Sima can't get there, Mayo meets it, and it's helped on there by Lyons up to the halfway line. Kelly sitting deep again just for the moment, but absorbing the Rangers pressure such as it is, as Raskin plays it short to Dill, who's not really been able to make any serious impact in the game. Raskin, left hand side, curls it towards the back post. Tavernier arriving, but there's no way he was ever going to be able to force that back into the danger area, and it's behind for a goal kick. Kilmarnock dealing with Rangers very well so far. Almost 59 played. Kilmarnock 0, Rangers 0.
Yeah, he had loads of time to lift his head and get that right, Raskin. He looks to the heavens, he did, in disappointment. Raised his hand in apology to James Tavernier.
Cantwell is stripped, so is Leon Balogun, so is Danilo. So let's see, are all three of those going to come on immediately? Certainly Cantwell's making his way towards the touchline as it's hoofed forward by Robbie Dees. One for Armstrong to chase down the right hand side, beats Barisic to it. The assistant referee says it's crossed the touchline though, and it will be a throw in to Rangers deep in their own territory as Cantwell and Danilo prepare to make their entrance. Rangers debut for the Brazilian striker Danilo, brought in for a fair bit of money from Feyenoord just the last couple of weeks. Michael Beale saying he is a couple of weeks behind the rest of the squad in terms of fitness and match sharpness, but they need something different from what they've shown so far. Cyril Dessers, who might well be one of the players to be replaced, hasn't really been able to impose himself either, as Raskin picks up and knocks it forward to Dessers. So on the halfway line it's Lundstrom, turns it back to Suter, still inside their own half. It looks like it's just going to be Cantwell and Danilo for the moment as the ball is still in play. Wait for the next stoppage before these two can be introduced, as Raskin has it. An hour on the clock, but no goals on the scoreboard. And Suter has it for Rangers at the back, plays it to the right hand side for Lundstrom, just drops the shoulder and moves away from Kyle McGuinness just inside his own half, then plays the ball infield for Raskin. He's got a bit of room to move into, slides it forward now for Lammers at the edge of the box, lets fly, big deflection onto the roof of the net, could have looked anywhere, looked over the goalkeeper but over the crossbar as well. It'll be a Rangers corner.
Yeah, it was a great attack, really good, and what Lee just said a moments ago, people running with the ball, committing defenders, and that's what happened. We've not seen a lot of Kieran Dowell. I know it's a guessing game as to who's going to come off at this stage in the season, but just got a wee feeling it might be Kieran Dowell. I just don't. I think he's given the ball away a few times. He's struggled with the pitch at times. I think he will be a good signing for Rangers, but he's not produced today.
Barisic to take over on the right hand side, left footed in swinger towards the back post. It's a good one. Suter gets his head to it, so too did Dowell, but he knocked it wide of the far post, and Rangers still can't find a way past this Kilmarnock back line. It remains Kilmarnock nil, Rangers nil, and he comes at double change, and it is going to be Danilo for Dessers up front, a straight swap up front from that point of view, with the Brazilian coming on for the last just under half an hour. And on two, and Rory's called it correctly, is Cantwell for Dowell, two former Norwich City players, one replacing the other. And I think the Rangers fans will be delighted to see Todd Cantwell on, Lee, because he made such an impression when he came in January.
Yeah, what a finish to the season he had. Just to say, from January on, he kicked on, and I think that surprised a lot of people that he didn't start today. I'm in complete agreement with Rory. I think Dowell has been a little bit quiet today. The game's passed him by. I don't know what reason that would be. Maybe the pitch, maybe just the manner of the game. I don't think he'll be a bad signing for the club. I just think now we've got somebody that opens defences up in Todd Cantwell.
Kelly going to make a change of their own, and it's up front as well. It's Marley Watkins who's going to be replaced by the new club captain Kyle Vassell. He'll take the armband from Brad Lyons as he comes on for the closing 27-28 minutes, and he will look to try and impose himself on the game. But Marley Watkins put in a terrific shift, as you mentioned a couple of times, Rory.
Yeah, he's been excellent. He's done all the things you would want from a striker playing in this system against a team that you know you're going to have to give up a lot of possession. He's worked his socks off, he's held it up at times, he's worked back the pitch, and he's again had good quality at times, so he can be pleased with his day's work. A striker always likes to score a goal. But on comes Kyle Vassell.
Killie have a throw in midway inside the Rangers half, right hand side, taken by Mayo, who gets it back. Rangers have nicked it though. Sima knocks it forward, and the first touch from Danilo is a delightful one actually, but Lammers can't get it back to him, and then Lyons plays it off Todd Cantwell. Kilmarnock thrown on the halfway line. We've played 63.5 minutes, and it's still goalless, and the Celtic fans listening in will be delighted that looks like Rangers could potentially drop points on the opening day after they had dispatched Ross County 4-2 on Flag Day at Celtic Park. And Michael Beale will know that even this early in the season, drop points are not the way ahead for his side, as Danny Armstrong picks up right hand side for Kilmarnock. 2 or 3 Rangers players surrounding him. Barisic should get to that first, and he knocks it out of play for a Kilmarnock throw in down near the corner flag. Right hand side as Killie come forward, as Michael Beale and Derek McInnes prowl around their technical areas. And there's no doubt that Derek McInnes would absolutely love even a point. Certainly would be a good result. A victory clearly would be phenomenal for his side, and they're looking for that right now as Watson hurls the ball into the penalty area. It's in! It's in! Kilmarnock have got the goal! Dreadful defending from Rangers. I think it was John Suter who couldn't get the ball out of his feet to knock it clear, and Kilmarnock send the ball into the back of the net. It's a phenomenal scoreline here at Rugby Park. It is Kilmarnock 1, Rangers 0.
Yeah, unbelievable, Al. And it just sums Rangers up for me. Standing watching as the ball bounces. Kilmarnock not caught on their heels. They're first to the ball, as they've been to most of the balls in the middle of the pitch. And they deserve that goal, I have to say. Trying to work out who scored. I don't know if Lee's able to see it.
I think it might have been Lyons. I'm going for Lyons. It was difficult to see, but I'm with you, Rory. That was pitiful defending from Rangers. I'm going to say Rangers as a whole there. I don't know if it was Suter, I don't know who it was, but just clear your lines.
Ball bounces in the 6-yard box just about.
Yep. Game on now.
Brad Lyons, it looked to be, who fired that in after hesitance in the Rangers backline. And all of a sudden, Kilmarnock, just seconds after I mentioned how they'd love a victory over Rangers, well, they are 1 up, and Rangers with it all to do in the closing 25 minutes. Kilmarnock fans Absolutely loving the performance from their side today, and forward they come once more. It's Vassell causing trouble for the Rangers backline. Lundstrom gets the challenge in. Vassell somehow still keeps the ball left hand side now. It's Ndaba forwards for McGuinness. Ndaba's managed to keep it in, but then eventually pirouettes and knocks the ball out of play. Oh, what a scoreline here, and the Kilmarnock fans really enjoying what they're seeing so far this afternoon.
Very, very important 25 or so minutes coming up for all the players, the manager, everybody at the football club. I think it's the first game of the season and this is what we're talking about, but everybody knew the pressure was going to be on, the pressure was going to be on the manager. Now Rangers need to find a way.
Todd Cantwell has it then. Threads it through for Sima. Is he onside? Flag stays down. Sima left hand side, cuts it across the box. No takers in the middle for Rangers.
Oh, he was offside now, and the linesman still not put his flag up. He looked a good 2-3 yards off to me there. Could be wrong, but
Todd Cantwell now picks the ball up 35 yards from goal, plays a short pass to Lammers. Rangers trail by a goal to nil. It's Tavernier who's dug Rangers out many a hole. Sima can't get on the end of his cross. Now there's a head knock inside the 6 yard box. Immediately play is halted by Willie Collum. Both Sima and Robbie Dees go down clutching their head, and treatment will be allowed if necessary. In fact, both players back on their feet, but Kilmarnock with the advantage, and Brad Lyons the unlikeliest of scorers, just one goal last season for the club, and he had just handed over the captain's armband to Kyle Vassell, but leading from the front there as he lashed it in. Looked to me to be John Sutherland. You weren't quite sure if it was. Someone in the Rangers backline certainly dallied and couldn't get the ball clear, and Kilmarnock taking full advantage.
Al, the problem Rangers have got now is they need a couple of goals, and if you look at their new signings, without being too critical, without having watched them, last season 12 goals for Danilo in 44 appearances, 10 goals for Dessers in 34, and only 2 for Lammers in 34. So they're really going to have to find a couple of goals from somewhere. They're not prolific, these players. They're sure they're very good players, but in terms of scoring goals, you can't say that they're prolific.
I think that's what they're going to need. Rangers are going to need a 20 plus a season, man, isn't it, Rory? So it's are one of these players, is Danilo a 20 goal a season man? Not going by history, he's not, is he? So it'll be interesting.
Kilmarnock have got their tails up. It's Ndaba laying it off. McGuinness goes for goal. Butland can't hold it, but the second time around he smothers it before Vassell can knock in the rebound. But all of a sudden it's Kilmarnock who look the likelier to get on the score sheet again. Rangers have given it away again. Cantwell comes in late on Danny Armstrong. It's going to be a free kick to Kilmarnock inside the centre circle, and Willie Collum will want a word with the Rangers midfielder. It's Rangers frustration boiling over. Free kick goes the home side's way. They have got 20 minutes or thereabouts to try and hold on to this advantage, or potentially extend it. You never know. Armstrong will go back and take the free kick from inside the centre circle. Kilmarnock, 5 bodies strung along the edge of the Rangers penalty area. Rangers fans want the free kick to be taken a bit quicker, but Kilmarnock well within their rights to hold play up, as eventually the free kick is blocked by Danilo. Ball's hoisted towards the edge of the Rangers penalty. There was a foul there on Borna Barisic off the ball, and the free kick goes Rangers' way, and it's quickly taken. Rangers having to show a great deal more urgency now than they have for the 70 minutes leading up to now. They just haven't produced the kind of performance that their fans would have been hoping for coming down to Kilmarnock on the opening day. But here's Tavernier. Now Lundstrom, midway inside the Kilmarnock half. Forward he comes. Lammers leaves it. Read well though by the goal scorer Lyons. He's then taken out of play by Todd Cantwell, was he? Willie Collum says no. Kilmarnock fans can't believe it. looked to be a trip there for me, but Willie Collum certainly a lot closer to the action than we are, and play allowed to continue. Here is Cantwell picking up from the left hand side towards goal. He comes, tries to clip it through, but it's such a crowded area. It's going to be the absolute perfect pass to be able to play it through there, and Suter and Goldson get themselves in a frankel at the back, and Kilmarnock have won it back on the halfway line. Fed forward for Vassell, takes it away from Lundstrom out to the left hand side. Vassell now cuts it in for McGuinness inside the penalty area, finds Watson lays it off for Armstrong, takes it down and just wide from Danny Armstrong. And Kilmarnock looking by far and away the better side at the moment as Ryan Jack prepares to come on.
I agree with Al. I think Kilmarnock there, brilliant. I've been really impressed with Vassell since he's come on. Pace and power caused problems to Rangers back four, never mind just the centre half, so he's running power. And again, good chance there, Rory. That could have been 2-0.
It could have been. Far too many easy passes allowed, and Kyle Vassell showing his physicality. The man with the biggest calves to grace Rugby Park since 2017 when you last played league.
Thank you.
It's a goal kick to Rangers as Ryan Jack comes on for John Lundstrom. 18 minutes to play. Kilmarnock 1, Rangers 0. Kilmarnock haven't beaten Rangers in an opening day fixture since the early 20th century. But they are leading now thanks to Brad Lyons' goal in the 65th minute. Rangers have to find a way, or else they are going to be trailing in the title race on the opening day. John Suter, who made that error, he made the error that almost proved costly against Livingston in the opening day last season, and you can't find Tavernier there. It's out of play on the far side. Kilmarnock 1, Rangers 0, 73 minutes played.
Do you know the thing is, we talk about the elements of the pitch, and I know Kilmarnock players are more used to playing on it, but in terms of signings, there's been a lot of signings for Kilmarnock. The pitch is the pitch. Kilmarnock are playing on it as well. A lot of new signings in their team, as I say. I just don't know if there's any excuses, because Kilmarnock have been exceptional. They really have. They've passed the ball well. Their full game plan is worked to a T. There's been quality there, and it's not been a case of soaking up pressure. I've really enjoyed watching them, and I just think if they are to use these reasons and excuses, I think they should fall on deaf ears. I really do.
I think I completely agree with you, Rory. I think from a Rangers perspective, if I'm in that dressing room or anybody, they cannot blame the pitch. The pitch isn't great in my opinion, but it's the same for both teams. I think Rangers have been slow in possession, very laboured in the middle of the pitch, and they've not really had that cutting edge, bit of quality at the top of the pitch. But Kilmarnock, you could arguably say, well, definitely deserved it, but have they been the better team? Potentially, yes, they have.
Play their way out from the back again. Good link up between Kennedy and Watson, who just bundles Goldson to the ground though in his pursuit of the ball. It'll be a Rangers free kick deep in their own territory. Goldson wants to get on with it. He's got just over 15 minutes plus stoppage time to play. That's Rory McKenzie, who's stripped to come on for Kilmarnock shortly, as Tavernier picks up on the right hand side. Killie 1, Rangers 0. Brad Lyons with the goal in 65 minutes after hesitant defending from a throw-in from John Suter as Raskin tries to find Cantwell, but off target with the pass. Easy take for Will Dennis, and it's still 1-0 to the home side.
It's poor out. It's very, very poor. It's middle of the pitch. It's too straight a pass. He's trying to put the pass in the eye of a needle. 40-yard pass. Just get it wide. I wouldn't say that's Raskin's game. Trying to thread passes through, that was ridiculous. Just keep the possession.
Launched long by Dennis up towards Vassell. He can't get onto it, and Nork and Kennedy as Raskin emerges with possession and feeds Sima on the right hand side, looking to test the pace of Corey and Dava. Left back does really well, wins possession back for Kilmarnock, and Sima just trying to close him down. He's done well actually, Sima. He's got it back, and now it's Danilo picks up. Jack couldn't take the pass in his stride, but Raskin picks up out to Tavernier right hand side, looks up, takes a touch, sends it in off the head of Robbie Dees, comes to Barisic, splashes the ball at goal, and then Lammers tries to redirect it. It's well wide of goal. And it's still Kilmarnock 1, Rangers 0. Here's the change for Kilmarnock, and it's Kyle McGuinness who's going to come off, and Rory McKenzie, the Kilmarnock longest serving player, is going to come on for the closing 14 minutes plus stoppage time. And it's been a really good shift for Kyle McGuinness. And Derek McInnes said when he signed Kyle McGuinness, look, if we'd been fit for the last couple of years, we're probably not able to sign a player of his quality. We're taking a bit of a chance. We sign him, we're trying to help him, but hopefully he can help us. He certainly helped them today.
Yeah, he's a player I played with at St Mirren for 6 months. He was a young boy coming through with the likes of Stevie Mallon and Lewis Morgan, and he was as good as both of those. I think he's an excellent player. Lee was just saying before the game that in terms of the pitch, it's not maybe ideal for a player who's trying to deal with injury issues, but he certainly looked like he's dealt with it today, and I think any player in a Kilmarnock shirt could walk off this pitch to a standing ovation today.
Conor Goldson just nudges that back to his goalkeeper. We've got just over 13 minutes remaining of the 90. It's Kilmarnock 1, Rangers 0. Kelly looking for their first win in 3.5 years over Rangers. They didn't beat Rangers or Celtic last season, and as you might have heard Derek McInnes say pre-match, it was something he was keen to put right this season. Well, they're on course to do that, but I know their fans will not be counting their chickens just yet. Rangers will clearly be pushing all the way to try and get at least a point, but realistically they need to get 3 with a big game against Servette in the Champions League qualifier, 3rd round to come on Wednesday. That's live with us on both BBC Scotland TV and radio. Here's Lammers laying it into the path of Danilo, comes back to Lammers about 30 yards from goal. Now Cantwell just outside the box, Watson trying to stick with him, comes out to the left hand side for Barisic, lays it back to Raskan. Now Cantwell once more, 25 yards from goal, gives it away though. Kilmarnock will try to come forward on the break. It's Armstrong looking to test Suter for pace. Suter just puts his body in between Armstrong and the ball and gets it back to Butland, who plays it to Jack, and now Suter once more. Rangers playing their way out of a tricky position there pretty well. As Jack emerges with possession, plays it forwards for Raskan, crossing the halfway line. Rangers need to really try to force the issue here. It's Tavernier. Into the box it goes for Raskan, right hand side, has to check back with Jack. Jack clips it into the 6-yard box. It comes off the head of Lewis Mayo and skewed behind for another Rangers corner over on the right hand side. Kilmarnock will assume they're going to come under some significant pressure in the closing 10 minutes or so. They've dealt with everything that's been thrown at them so far. As Barisic prepares to take the corner from the right hand side, left footed. Rangers looking for a leveller here. Barisic swings it in, it's all the way through, and it's going to come out for a throw in on this near side. It came off a Kelly head, and it will be a Rangers throw in down near the corner flag on the left hand side. Ryan Jack hurls it back to Todd Cantwell. Cantwell trying to shake off Matty Kennedy there, plays it to Raskan. Back into the centre circle for Conor Goldson, and now it's Jack out to the left hand side for Barisic. Barisic takes a touch, feigns to cross on his left foot, then puts onto his right. That's not a bad ball. Danilo gets his head to its way off target. Jack will try and keep it in. He hasn't managed to do so. It's a Kilmarnock goal kick. Everything going the way of the home side right now. 79.5 minutes on the clock. Kilmarnock 1, Rangers 0.
It's a strange game to watch, Lee, because in my opinion, you watch an Old Firm team against a provincial club, and you don't mean to be disrespectful, they're going to dominate possession, but Kilmarnock's quality has been so much better than Rangers. Rangers are doing what you would expect the other team to do against them. They're slinging it into the box, hoping for a knockdown and hoping for a goal. There's no quality there.
No, I think there's especially in the final third for me, there's been a severe lack of quality, and I know that you're talking the front 3-4 players are all new signings, so but you don't get time, you don't get any excuses. It's got to be better.
Conor Goldson has it for Rangers. No signs of further activity on their bench, despite trailing by a goal to 0 into the last 10 minutes of the game. It's Raskan. Just plays a straight ball forward for Cantwell, who steps away from Watson. It's another ambitious effort. It's way off target from Todd Cantwell. And the Kilmarnock players and staff and fans will be delighted at Rangers' desperation almost, that they're really trying to force things. Nothing's happening naturally for them, and they do look like a team who are still very much getting to know each other.
Yeah, I mean, if that flies in the top corner, that flies in the top corner. Derek McInnes' game plan is, he's more than happy for players to shoot from that distance, and if it's a wonder goal, it's a wonder goal. But they've not really created anything through quick slick passing. I do take on board the pitch, but I still don't think it's an excuse, because Kilmarnock have done it.
Rangers have it at the back. It's Suter for Goldson. Goldson trying to get forward quickly. It's a poor pass though, and Dava is in the way. He knocks it forward. Vassell would have judged that just better than Connor Goldson, but Willie Collins says he was making a back for him and fouling him, and he gives the free kick to Rangers, which is quickly taken inside their own half.
It was a glance over the shoulder out. He's looking for Connor Goldson.
Wily striker play, but he didn't get away with it. And Jack picks up for Rangers midway inside the Kilmarnock half. Cantwell now into the feet of Lammers, edge of the box. Cantwell looks to get on the end of the return pass. He's forced out to the left hand side though. Good touch in there by Mayo then.
That's a foul.
Yeah, Cantwell seemed to nudge Armstrong to the ground. Willie Collins said he went down too easily, and it's a throw into Rangers. Cantwell takes to Barisic. Barisic swings it in. Tavernier gets his head to it, but there's no purchase or power in the header. It's an easy take for Will Dennis, and it remains on 82 minutes. Kilmarnock 1, Rangers 0. He's not been forced into a meaningful save, Will Dennis.
No, and I think that's what we keep going back to. There's been no quality in the final third. I think middle of the pitch they've been a little bit slow in possession. They've been taking touches, slowing the game down, letting Kilmarnock getting back in, get them into their shape, making it easy for them. They've no end of day that's eliminating players, getting the ball and getting past people. That's how I was expecting Cantwell, why he come on, but I don't know. It's
Lee, do you think, just touching on the mental aspect of playing for a side like Rangers, sorry, I thought there was going to be an attack there. Back when you played, obviously I was at the club in a couple of appearances, so I wasn't involved in the first team and things. However, do you think there's a mentality about it? You still believed at this point in the game you were going to win the game, and the players that were around you just felt you were going to get that goal.
Yes.
I think that's been lacking with Rangers recently.
Yes, I think it's been
Mental
lacking
strength.
the last couple of seasons. Look at the amount of times they've scored or won the game in that.
Here's Raskan trying to get the ball into the penalty area there, but Ndama was in the way. He was being fouled as Raskan tried to get the ball back, and it's a Kilmarnock free kick as Kamar Roof prepares to come on for Rangers. Barely saw any action because of injury last season, but he's going to be called upon to try and rescue at least a point for Rangers. Here is Sam Lammers as the player to be replaced, and you've got to say that Sam Lammers, like most of the Rangers players out there, has failed to make the kind of impact that his manager would have hoped for this afternoon.
He's been, yep, I agree. I think he's been very quiet. His attributes, I would say, would be his touch, the way he turns, final pass. I don't know if he's got a real explosive burst of pace, but I'm not saying he's slow when he's flat out. I just think he's been really quiet today, as have the other front four players for Rangers.
It's going to end up with Jack Butland, the ball through. Rangers have got 6 minutes to find an equaliser, plus any added on time. Kilmarnock looking to hold on for a famous victory, and what a start to the season that would be for them through in the League Cup. And a first day league season victory over Rangers. Here's Matty Kennedy, played forward by Armstrong now for Vassell, takes a shot on first time. It was ambitious and he didn't get a hold of it at all. Well, Kyle Vassell, if it ends up in the top corner, Rory as well, it's an absolute wonder goal, but he just got ahead of himself there.
Snatched at it there, didn't he? I think a little bit more composure, just wait for it coming down that extra yard, and he's got a strike on him.
Here's Raskan, who goes for goal himself, and that's not too far wide. Again, it's an effort from 30 yards out. It wasn't too far wide. Will Dennis throwing himself to his right, but it did go wide of his right hand post, and it remains Kilmarnock 1, Rangers 0.
Yeah, I think what would worry me from Michael Beale's perspective is the ease, and I don't think he did anything too difficult to defend against to carve that chance open. It was a simple diagonal run across inside the two defenders, which created up a space. But one thing that I hope I don't hear from Michael Beale, which I've heard quite a lot in games like this, is alluding to, I don't know the stats, but their shots on target, their shots on goal, their corners, etc., because the shots have been from 30-40 yards out.
Kamar Roof just brushed aside there by Watson, but Rangers have won it back. It's Cantwell left hand side, back comes Armstrong, just brushes him off the ball, and Kilmarnock have it back. It's been a wonderful performance from Kilmarnock, fully committed, certainly no shortage of skill at times as well, and it'd be hard to argue that they are not deserving of the 1-0 advantage they hold going into the last 4 minutes of this game.
Completely, Al. That's tremendous play there for Armstrong. I think he's been really, really good in the game today. He's been a ball carrier, he's worked hard, he's won the ball back at times, and on the other side you've got Kennedy, who's been really, really good, and Vassell as well. I think Kilmarnock to a man have been fantastic in this game, regardless how it ends now.
Rascan plays it square to Ryan Jack. Now it's Goldson midway inside the Kilmarnock half, clips it towards the back post. Danilo's in there, Dees gets the header, Cantwell's shot is blocked, comes out of the penalty area. Suter will pick up. Ryan Jack out to Tavernier, again midway inside the Kilmarnock half. The seconds ticking down all too slowly, no doubt, for the Kilmarnock fans, as Sima helps it forward for Rascan, but he's beaten to it by Lyons. He just knocks it behind. It'll be a Rangers corner, right hand side. They are absolutely desperate for, at the very least, a leveller. Rascan wants to do it quickly. Barisic trots over, he'll take it. Rangers staring an opening day defeat in the face for the first time in about 20 odd years, and the ball comes to the back post and Roof into the side netting. It was a tight angle certainly, and he couldn't get it on target. Kilmarnock survive, and it will be a goal kick. It's Kilmarnock 1, Rangers 0.
That was tight again from corners. Rangers have probably looked most dangerous for set plays today, Rory. Do you agree?
I would agree with that, yeah.
That was unlucky. It was a little bit of flick on. I think it was Seaman that's flicked it on, and Roof round the back. He just couldn't get the angle in. A couple of subs coming on.
Yeah, Innes Cameron and Fraser Murray are about to come on for Kilmarnock as Derek McInnes just tries to see out what would be a famous win, as Matty Kennedy looks to be making way. Also Danny Armstrong's number held up, so it's the two wide men as Innes Cameron trots on, a giant striker looking to make an impact at Rugby Park this season. Had a horrendous injury actually last season, which kept him out for a fair bit. Danny Armstrong is running the risk of a yellow card, so he takes an age to get off the pitch, but he's been excellent. Let's have Kilmarnock to a man, replaced by Fraser Murray in the closing minutes here. Kilmarnock just over a minute left of the 90 to see out, leading by a Brad Lyons goal to 0, scored in 65 minutes as Danilo chases Tavernier's ball forward. Danilo's not been able to get into the game at all so far.
I think he's been really quiet, Al. I completely agree with that. I'm just trying to think, is he a player that needs service? Is he going to come short and spin and take people at the game? I've been really, really surprised at how little he's touched the ball and impact the game since he's been on, 30 minutes? 35 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, I think he does need service, but at the same time you've got to want the ball, you've got to want to receive the ball and make angles and make an effort to get on the ball, and I just think Rangers have looked devoid of ideas.
Here's Barisic with a free kick though, into the penalty area it comes. It's won by Ndaba. He's been very impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say that about every Kilmarnock player, I know that, but certainly on his league debut for Kilmarnock, Corey Ndaba looks another really astute acquisition by Derek McInnes. He said a couple of weeks back, I think it was, that he feels his squad is a lot stronger than it was at the start of last season, and it'd be difficult to disagree with that, as 6 minutes is shown to be added on at the end of the game. We're into that now. Here's Rascan up to Sima, back to Cantwell, right hand side. It's Tavernier at the edge of the box, really terrible ball back from Tavernier, looking for Cantwell, who slipped anyway, and Vassell steps in, and as Cameron gives chase, out of his goal comes Jack Butland, well out of his area, and gets the ball before Cameron could get on the end of it. But Rangers just slack at the other end as they pursue an equaliser, which in all honesty doesn't look like it's going to come, but they have the best part of 6 minutes to try and eke one out. Here's Raskan as he sends it back into the box. Comes off Fraser Murray, whose first touch is to knock it behind for a Rangers corner. They've had plenty of these. They haven't really been able to make too much of it.
Yeah, it's caused a bit of pandemonium in the box at times, these corners. But they've got to hold their nerve here, Kilmarnock.
Yeah, it's a Barisic delivery upcoming again from the right hand side, left footed. As Kilmarnock look to try and keep Rangers out. Off his line comes Will Dennis once more, and the ovation you hear in the background is for the Kilmarnock keeper, who has been flawless on his first league appearance for Kilmarnock, coming off his line and taking that one comfortably. And Kilmarnock edge even further towards the 3 points here against Michael Beale's Rangers.
I think without doubt Kilmarnock are stronger. The only one I didn't know a lot about was Will Dennis, and he's been excellent today. Bringing in Matty Kennedy, Kyle McGuinness, Robbie Dees, Mally Watkins, Stuart Finlay, outgoing Ash Taylor, Blair Alston, Scott Robinson and Alan Power. That's definitely an upgrade for me across most of the side.
Completely. And you look at when Derek McInnes first came in. Won them promotion. That was the job that he says he had to do. Kept him in the league. That's what he says he had to do. And now I believe they're going to be kicking on for top 6.
Here's Tavernier. No way through as Mackenzie gets the challenge in. Raskan though helps out to Jack, right hand side, stands up to the back post, it's over Danilo. It'll come to Barisic, left hand side, back into the middle it goes. Roof can't get there, comes off the head of Finlay, helped away by Lyons, the goal scorer. Then Cameron nudges it on. Back though goes Suter, who at the moment is going to be culpable for the match winner as Butland knocks it to Goulson. Danilo comes short, Watson goes to close him down. Now it's Cantwell. Cantwell runs into trouble in the shape of Brad Lyons, who's been excellent as well. His ball forward though doesn't find the feet of Cameron, and Goulson plays it short to Cantwell. Cantwell looking for the ball forward for Sima. Again, it's asking a lot of the forwards, and Kilmarnock emerge with possession. Watson plays it for Lyons. Lyons lays it into the path of Cameron, but it's too far ahead of him. Goulson gets it back to his goalkeeper. We've got about 3 minutes left of the 6 added on, and still Kilmarnock lead by a goal to nil against Rangers. Brad Lyons, a goal scorer midway through the second half, and in truth Rangers have been poor. As Sima comes down the right hand side but just runs the ball out of play, and the Kilmarnock fans are beginning to sense that the famous win might be within their grasp.
Well, this is certainly making Kenny's upcoming questions a little bit easier to answer.
Yeah, well, you're not going to put Kilmarnock down as your favourites for relegation, are you? Not on this evidence. And Dava takes the throw in. It's forward for Danilo. Dees though bossing the situation, breaks for Roof midway inside the Kilmarnock half, manages to get it to Jack. Now it's Raskan, plays it forward for Danilo. Was he taken out there by Dees on the edge of the box? Looked to be, but Willie Collin allows play to continue. Kelly can't get it away. Raskan can't find Cantwell. Again it's Lyons stepping in to knock it out of play. Michael Beale goes to retrieve the ball, gives it quickly to Borna Barisic to take the throw in. Rangers running out of time for an equaliser, which surely they would accept. Now the victory is surely beyond them as Cantwell picks up and plays it short to Raskan. Midway inside the Killie half, into the box it comes. Again it's well defended, this time by Finlay. Suter tries to return it, but with no real quality, and Kilmarnock can kill them off in the counter perhaps. It's Vassell leading that counter up towards the edge of the box. Into the middle it goes, ahead of Cameron. Murray will get there, he'll just take it to the corner flag and run the clock down. No real desperation to get the ball back into the middle. Rangers have won it back. And Raskan has it, he just fires it forward, more in hope but desperation than anything else, and it's all the way through to Will Dennis, who would have really expected to have been worked a lot harder in this match against Rangers. He barely had to pull off a save of any great note, and the Kilmarnock fans now truly believe that victory is within sight. Here's Fraser Murray coming forward, gets to the byline. Can he pick out a teammate? No, he can't. It's Jack Butland that grabs it. Surely less than a minute left now of stoppage time. Tavernier fires it long, looking for Danilo. Danilo tries to lay it off. Back goes Lewis Mayo, who's been brilliant against his former side. Just knocks it out of play. Rangers throw in. Seconds now surely remaining. Barisic to Jack. Can Rangers grab an equaliser at the death, or Kilmarnock hold on? Here's Jack, left hand side, comes off a Kilmarnock player, and it's into the arms of Will Dennis, who goes down inside his 6-yard box with the ball in his grasp. And surely now Kilmarnock have the victory. Seconds left on the clock of Willie Collum, and the Kilmarnock fans dancing in the Rugby Park stands. Just listen to that home support. It's all over. Kilmarnock have the victory. The managers exchange handshakes, and Derek McInnes salutes his fans, who have seen their side record a famous victory on the opening day against supposed title challengers Rangers. But in this evidence, that might be a long way off. Yes, it's the opening day, but Rangers were second best here at Rugby Park, and Brad Lyon's second half strike, after hesitant defending from John Suter, gives Kilmarnock the ideal start to the league season. They were superb to a man. Rangers barely had a performer reach past marks, and so it finishes in the final match of the Saturday kickoffs in the Premiership. Kilmarnock 1, Rangers 0.
On digital radio,
FM,
online at BBC Sport Scotland,
your smart speaker,
and BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Scottish football lives here.
Absolutely fantastic from Kilmarnock, beating Rangers by 1-0. Brad Lyons with that goal on 65 minutes. Rory Law, you spoke about Killie at half-time, how impressed you were. They really kicked on from that to produce an excellent performance and result.
Yeah, every bit as impressed with Kilmarnock in the second half as I was in the first, Kenny. You know, beating an old firm side, you can win a game, you don't always deserve to win it. However, Kilmarnock today won the game, and they absolutely deserved to win the match. They were the better side. Their tactics were spot on, their individual performances were spot on, their will and desire to win the match was spot on. They outplayed Rangers, they outthought Rangers, and they outfought Rangers.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Lee McCulloch. And we know Derek McInnes, he's a hugely experienced manager. You spoke in commentary there. He came in, his job, get them promoted, he did that. Last season, consolidating the top flight, he did that. Now this campaign, you really expect him to kick on.
I do. I think after getting that promotion last season, he knew, because of the bulk of the same players that won the championship, he knew he wasn't going to make a dent in the Scottish Premiership that season. Now he's added, a lot of the players have went, he's added some fresh faces. Vassell being the captain, unbelievable when he come on. You get Matty Kennedy, you've got Armstrong. I think Kilmarnock will be pushing round about that sixth position. And you're right, Derek McInnes, what the man just keeps on doing it, doesn't he? The experience he's got, the tactical nous he's got, and I'm with Rory. Kilmarnock more than deserved 3 points today.
What about, Rory, tell us what works for Derek McInnes. Tell us why his team get these results, and talk to us about the recruitment that he has had throughout the summer.
Well, his recruitment's been excellent. I touched on them towards the end of the match there. I think Kyle McGuinness is a strong runner. Matty Kennedy's got good ability. Robbie Dees was excellent today. Marley Watkins has been here and done it at this level. Stuart Finlay the same. What I do think about Derek McInnes is he's able to land a message. A lot of some coaches and managers, they have almost trapped knowledge. They know what they're trying to say. His message is clear. Players understand their jobs, and what Derek McInnes is extremely good at, and it takes a few transfer windows to do so, is identifying players to fit his system. So Kyle McGuinness, for example, I've touched on it already, strong runner, he's a ball winner, he's a ball carrier, he can score a goal. Brad Lyons was the same today, he was excellent. Robbie Dees, he's seen enough of Robbie Dees to say, do you know what, you can come up and play for me in the Premier League and be a strong, good centre half. You've played enough games to show that. Stuart Finlay, his recruitment has been bang on. We speak about a recruitment quite a lot, but another thing is distances between players, they were so hard to break down today. They were so compact in the middle of the pitch. Rangers didn't have a plan B. And then, as a manager, and Lee will tell you, there's only so much coaching things you do. It ultimately boils down to the players on the day to deliver, and my goodness did they deliver today. But Derek McInnes is going to take this team from strength to strength, in my opinion, and there's a number of reasons, some of them I've touched on, as to why his teams are able to churn out these type of results time and time again.
Have you guys got a team sheet in front of you?
Yeah.
What I'd like you to do is just go through that Rangers team as if you're writing a line on each player and their performance today. So kick us off, Butland.
Well, I think you could do, I'll save you time, I think you could do it through every single one of them, in my opinion. I think it's just been a poor performance. I don't think anybody in a Rangers jersey get pass marks, including the substitutes that have come on. So I think, in my opinion, we'll save a bit of time and just put a line through every one of them.
You go with that, Rory? That bad?
Seema, maybe. No, having it. I've not even mounted my argument yet, Lee. Listen, I thought he at least tried to make things happen. I will say that, but it was devoid of quality. The likes of Dowell, Dessers, Lammers, it really was bad. However, we can be guilty at times of seeing how bad Rangers were. I thought Kilmarnock were absolutely outstanding. I'm going to say that performance from Kilmarnock today was nigh on perfect.
Yep. They were very, very good. Looking at the stats for the game, of course, they concede possession. 10 shots they had, 3 on target, 2 corners, but my goodness, they were well organised. They had chances at the end there as Rangers were really pushing to increase their lead, but real nous in the players taking the ball into the corner, killing that clock. The thing is, Lee, and you played in many very, very good Rangers sides, and I would think in the sides you played for, very, very rarely would the accusation be fired at you that you were outfought. But there is no doubt this Rangers team today was completely outfought by Kilmarnock.
Yep, I agree with you. I think going back to very successful teams that have been, not just that I've been in, but that have been, they never ever get outfought. You don't get outworked. You're playing with a big club. The demand at least is you work harder than the opponent, and see if the opponent's better than you, then so be it. But that wasn't the case today. Kilmarnock were better and ran further and worked harder.
Rory, we spoke of this at half time. It is day one of the Premiership season. We spoke about the manager, Michael Beale. Perhaps not too much pressure, if you can say that for any old firm manager, on him last season. He has been backed by the board. He's brought 9 players in. The heat is now, we're only one day in, but the heat's on him big time now, is it not?
Yes, it is. What I said to Lee before the game when we were chatting was that I felt that Michael Beale and Rangers had to get to the winter break still in touch with Celtic, because I thought, what I said was there'll be bumps in the road between the first game of the season and the winter break, simply because there is so much change here. He's failed at the first hurdle and he's now 3 points behind. The biggest concern for me is, I just think at these clubs there's a mentality. I sat in Celtic Park several times last season with Celtic losing the game or drawing the game with 5 minutes to go, a minute to go, 2 minutes to go, and not once did I say anything, because I just knew what was coming. I said with 10 minutes to go today, I made that point because I just knew that Rangers weren't going to score a goal. They looked devoid of ideas. Like, it was literally, a midfield player gets the ball, tries to play that little reverse pass to a player inside the box, it gets snuffed out and Kilmarnock attack. I also said that I felt Michael Beale was coming back to a totally different club when he came back. I made that point at the time, and I said that, when Steven Gerrard came to the club, a lot of performances and results and disappointments were brushed under the carpet because it was stop 10, stop 10, stop 10. Now every performance is under the microscope, every little detail is under the microscope, and you're right, the heat is on, and it's the worst possible start. I can't even sit here and say, well, they were beaten 1-0, it was one of those days. It wasn't. They were awful.
I think back, Lee, to Ange Postecoglou's first season in charge. I interviewed him many times, and he spoke about signing people, not signing players, about character. Guys he knew fitted into his system, guys he knew would fight. It meant a lot to them. Now, I'm not going to write off the Rangers players here in day one, but see, when you look through that squad, there looked a lack of leadership, players wanted to accountability. You could say that about Dundee United last season, couldn't you? But you look at them now, they brought Doherty in there, they brought Moult in there, they brought Gallagher in there, guys that are winners. That there are real question marks already over some of these Rangers players from what we saw today.
Yeah, there's got to be. They've just been beaten in the first game of the season, so the players will now realise, the new signings, it's not going to be easy. It's all about now the next game, and whatever flack comes their way, they've got to take it on their shoulders and try to prove everybody wrong. There's a saying in football, you're only as good as your last game, but when you're at Celtic, Rangers, you're only as good as your last pass, and that's the standard that it's got to be. Walter Smith used to say all the time in the dressing room, there's a graveyard of international football players that can't handle playing at Ibrox, and that today is a little bit down that line. Listen, I know it's super early in the season. Danilo's come on, he's nowhere near match fit. There's quite a few of them, probably, in fact all of them, will be nowhere near match fit. That's the first competitive game, but 3 points behind after day one.
I think as well, Kenny, Lee touched on at the end, they went over to clap the fans. If you're going to do that, at least, Lee was of the opinion they should have just headed straight into the dressing room. But if you are going to do it, at least do that with purpose. Their body language, they looked so defeated, their shoulders were down, they just looked defeated. And okay, it's no ideal losing the first game of the season, but even that didn't drive home any belief whatsoever that they felt they could go on and do something. And
I'll tell you something, Rory, Ibrox could be a very unforgiving place on Wednesday night if they don't raise their game for the European match.
Well, Lee said that. It was one of the first things he said. I think, if you think this is tough, just wait till you get to Ibrox on Wednesday night, I think it is. That's, it's a cauldron, and Lee knows better than I do. And his analogy about is being as good as your last pass and being able to handle the pressure of playing in that environment. Lee will be able to tell you a hell of a lot more about that than I do. But I've been there on the opposing side. In any periods of success you have even within a game, the pressure mounts very, very quickly. I just think the worrying sign for the guys going back up the road, or the Rangers fans going back up the road, I just can't think of anything. That whole, well, you can take positive, I can't think of anything. I really can't.
Yeah, and completely the opposite for Kilmarnock, of course, Lee, as we've been saying. Just talked about some of the players in that side that you like. I was down there a couple of times last season. I really like Danny Armstrong. I love his attitude to the game.
He plays the game like free. He's a free spirit. He's a ball carrier. He likes to try and take people on. He's got good delivery. He likes to cut inside. I love his energy. I love Matty Kennedy's energy. I'll tell you who I thought was sensational today was Lyne in the middle of the pitch. Lyons.
Yeah.
He put himself about. He won the ball. He's putting his head where you wouldn't imagine. It was just every single player. I thought Stuart Finlay and Dees defended incredibly well. There was just a togetherness in Kilmarnock today, a work ethic, a team spirit. I don't think there is that yet at Rangers.
Kenny, can I just say as well, there was a lot of trouble from everybody in the press box trying to identify who'd actually scored at the time, and the penny didn't drop at the time. But remember when Brad Lyne signed for St Mirren and he had the glasses on, the specs, and it was doing the rounds in the newspapers and all the rest of it, and he got a bit of stick. He actually put his hands up to his eyes, as in, wearing glasses. So he's obviously got a particular name within the dressing room.
He'll be a hero in there, there's no doubt about that. And do you know what, guys? You could see it. I can see it coming into the screens in here, the absolute delight, the pride on the face of Derek McInnes tonight. He spoke before but not been able to beat the Old Firm last season, but you look at that today and it was just the complete performance. As a manager, you can't ask for any more.
You can't. I think you're right, he deserves it. He's got the experience, he's got the tactical nous. I'll tell you what he's got, the recruitment spot on. I think Rory touched on it. People think managing, coaching is an art, which it is to a certain degree, but you're only as good as the players you've got as a manager and a coach. And Derek, since he came in, and I keep saying it, that's two fresh squads in 3 years. I think he deserves enormous credit.
A lot of talk was had, Rory, when Kilmarnock decided to cut the allocation, when Old Firm come to town. But you could really see the benefit of that today. I could hear that coming over the airways from Rugby Park, that big home crowd getting right behind their team.
Yeah, I think as well. I mean, I think you could have gave Rangers the full stadium today, Kenny, and they still wouldn't have won the game. They would have lost it. Kilmarnock were that good. That little bit of impetus shooting towards your own supporters as well. You'd have thought that would have maybe, drove them forward. Cantwell cut a frustrated figure when he came on, and I don't know whether that's because he was left out the team. Nico Raskin at times for me wanted to get involved in petty silly little things. You need to go and win a game of football. There's no point in getting caught up with players in the middle of the pitch and concentrating on their own things. And this is a sobering day for this. According to a lot of Rangers fans that I speak to, all conquering Rangers side, with these signings and things like that, they've come. I said at the start, the expectations there with the supporters and the flares, it was magnificent to see. They're now going back into a tight away dressing room where it's maybe changed since I played, but it's tight. It's not a particularly nice environment. Showers aren't always working, and things like that make you just sober up and go, I need to get my act together here, and we need to roll our sleeves up and fight, because as much as we want to talk up Scottish football, you need to be able to fight when you come to places like this, and they just didn't look up for it. Cantwell got brushed off the ball a couple of times, as did a few others, and Normally Watkins running 60 yards and shoving Raskin over, just summed it up.
Guys, we spoke before this game got underway, and I had the predictions from the other pundits earlier in the day. So what we're looking at, I wonder if it's changed at all from what you've seen this evening, but what we're looking for is top, bottom and surprise package. So last season's surprise package could be St Mirren top 6, Dundee United obviously the other way, dreadful season for them. So Lee, let's start with yourself. Just a wee explanation for your 3 selections, why you've chosen them.
My surprise would be Kilmarnock top 6.
Yep.
Relegation would be Dundee. I think it's just because they've just come up. I think St Johnstone might struggle, but I just think Dundee might be the ones to go down. And shock revelation to win the league, Rangers. Ange Postecoglou.
That's not what you said to me off. That's not what you said to me off early.
Wait a minute. Are you serious?
I'm being deadly serious. Ange Postecoglou lost his first game in charge at the start of the season, and after that it was a wake-up call, and they went on and dominated.
Rory, describe his face as he's talking there at the moment. Is it straight?
Wait till I stop laughing first, Kenny.
He's just slaughtered them.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's actually...
He makes a good point.
Yeah, he does make a backup point there in saying that. However...
You're going to shoot it down.
Well, I'm not going to shoot it down, because it's true. Ange Postecoglou did lose a handful of his first half dozen fixtures, so you can't argue with that. But I just think Celtic, you've got that spine of the team. Joe Hart, I know he's got a wee mistake in him, but from time to time, but he's a good goalkeeper. Cameron Carter-Vickers, McGregor and Hatate, Kyogo, that is the spine of their team, and they are, they're superb. I don't see anyone overturning Celtic, and I thought I would have said that before this match as well.
And bottom for you, Rory?
Bottom for me, St Johnstone. St Johnstone fans aren't going to like me. I tipped them last year as well, I think, but I just think the League Cup, I think they struggled recruitment wise as well, whether that's convincing players to come, whether that's budget, it could be a number of things. We've got obviously the hindsight of being able to look back in the first round of fixtures as well. So I just think St Johnstone. Engineer is pointing to the pitch side.
Yeah, the Rangers manager Michael Beale live now with Alistair Lamont.
Michael, thanks for joining us. Clearly that didn't go the way you would have hoped. What do you put the performance down to?
I thought Kilmarnock defended extremely well. They had a game plan, they sat deep and they tried to play on the counter, and they were dangerous at that all day. I thought they restricted us to minimal chances. The stats will say we had the most possession and 18 shots, but I felt they were comfortable in the game. I thought they defended very, very well, and I don't want to take anything away from Derek and his boys. It's a really poor opening day result for us. We need to move forward quickly.
The fans who'd stayed till the end, they were pretty furious. Did they have a right to be there?
I don't think they have a right in terms of the effort and anything, but in terms of the result, we expected to come in and get a result today. So the excitement over the summer is going to be tempered a little bit by that result. But it's one game, we need to bounce back. We have to show them and we have to excite them and get them behind us. It works two ways, and today we were unfortunate in terms of not being able to get the result. I thought Kilmarnock played well on the day, and I don't want to take anything away from them, as I said.
Lee McCulloch, who was on commentary duty with me, has just mentioned the fact that a couple of seasons ago Ange Postecoglou lost his first game in charge and went on to turn things round in pretty good fashion. Clearly it's early in the season, but you do need to lift the level of performance, don't you?
Yeah, of course. Listen, the amount of possession we had 18 shots, 8 corners. I expect us, with the quality we have, to execute in those moments. And if you don't, I expect us to get a hard-fought away draw rather than coughing up a really poor goal. So, look, it's food for thought. It's obvious we're not happy with today. Not me, not the staff, not the players, certainly not the fans as well, but it's gone. We have to move forward and move forward quickly. It's a new group, and I think there's a bit of an open eyes now in terms of the demands of this club and what the league's going to bring for everybody.
I said to you before the game, clearly very little margin for error, and you probably don't get too many of those results in a course of a season if you're going to be title contenders, do you?
No, of course not. We know everything about the league, but there's 37 games to go, so let's not get carried away.
And just briefly then, in terms of Wednesday, clearly you have to quickly turn things around if you have to have ambitions of qualifying for the Champions League this season.
Yeah, it's a perfect game for us now to bounce back.
Okay, thanks for your time, Michael. Cheers. All the best.
Michael Beale there, Lee. We've just got a minute left, but for a Rangers manager to say that Kilmarnock were comfortable in the game, that's damning for Rangers fans to hear. But the truth of it is, he was absolutely spot on in his assessment.
Yeah, I think he's hurting. I think you can tell for the tone of his voice, he's hurting, and that pleases me. It pleases me that it matters. Obviously, the fans won't be happy. He knows that. They won't be happy at him. They won't be happy at the players, and rightly so, because they've not won, and that's the demands of being at a big football club. But Michael is also right by saying it's very, very early doors. I go back to my point, Ange Postecoglou.
Yep, listen, you backed that one up. In terms of Kilmarnock, just 20 seconds left, Rory, but the Kilmarnock fans will leave that ground tonight very, very proud of their manager and the performance from these players this evening.
Yes, and quite rightly so. I've described it as, as close to perfect as you could get. I'm sure Derek will pick the bones of it and want to tidy up on maybe one or two things. I genuinely, he's got much more managerial experience than I'll ever have, but I couldn't see anything wrong with it. Across the pitch, his new signings were good.
Yep.
Good in the counter and shored up defensively. Excellent display.
One word, Rory, surprise package from you?
Ross County.
Ross County. Okay, thank you very much indeed to our guys. It's been another busy day on sports, and we've got a busy week of European action ahead. Tomorrow, full coverage of Hibs against St Mirren in the Premiership. Sports Sound kicks off at 2. Off the Ball gets underway at midday. Now, usually we bring you reaction from Derek McInnes, but tonight we're leaving you a bit early. That's to allow BBC Radio Scotland to pay tribute to a good man and a terrific, an absolutely terrific broadcaster, the late, great Robbie Shepherd, who passed away this week at the age of 87. What a contribution he made to broadcasting, to Scottish music. He will be sadly missed. He died this week, and now we pay tribute to a great, great man. Good night from all of us here.